10 o'clock, welcome in. It's the Monday edition of Three-Man Front Reaction Monday. College baseball world reacting to another title coming from a member institution of the Southeastern Conference. The LSU Tigers do it again, 8th time in school history. Coastal Carolina, their run comes to an end to the tune of, what was it, Conrad? 26 straight for the Chanticleers, but LSU, it's just in their DNA. One of the blue bloods of college baseball. Getting it done over the weekend, but not without some fireworks. We're going to talk about that. A lot of other things going on as well. Patrick Smith joining us, as is Molly Robinson and one Conrad Van Order. Patrick, how are you?
I am doing good, Landrum. How are you on this beautiful but humid, steamy Monday?
It is steamy, but I'm all for it. Molly says that she's cold in the studio, and I can't figure it out. We probably need to get her to a doctor.
I'm always cold.
She's always got the sweatshirt on.
I always bring a sweatshirt because I always get cold.
Yeah. And some days I agree with you. Not today.
No, it's warm in here today.
It's a little bit warm.
Yeah,
Well, it was cold in our office. I was cold.
I'm using that as an extra refrigerator in our office now. That's where I'm storing things from home.
I like it. It's nice because I'm about to start sweating, and we're 1 minute into the show.
Are you going to skin off today?
Oh, take my shirt off?
Have we reached that time in the summer?
Yeah, I'll take my shirt off. We'll do a Stallions fan show.
Just like you're at the game.
That's right.
Call Chris and Damien.
Skin
and have
off
them
wherever
in here.
you are
Absolutely.
at work today.
Yeah, they'll just stand behind me the whole time. It'll be great.
It'll be great YouTube watching right there. Be good stuff. As Landrum mentioned, the LSU Bengal Tigers, they win it again, 5-3 over Coastal Carolina. They sweep the Chanticleers, 8th College World Series title, second the last 3 years. They finished 53-15 on the year. Very impressive. If you remember back, LSU was 12 outs away from being eliminated in their own regional to Arkansas Little Rock. Do you remember that? So close.
It's the last team to beat them.
So close. You remember they had them up that last game, and LSU was able to overcome that. But the Tigers went 8-0 after that near scare. So ring secured for the LSU Bengal Tigers. Got to go back to Saturday and what you saw from Cade Anderson. Just throws a complete game shutout to win game 1. 9 innings pitched, 3 hits, no runs, 10 Ks, 130 pitches on the day. Most people believe that he will be the first pitcher taken in the upcoming Major League Baseball amateur draft. But it did have its fireworks yesterday. And I know you were watching it and you saw what happened in the first inning. Let's take you to the LSU radio broadcast. This is the way it sounded as Coastal Carolina's head coach gets tossed in the first inning.
And Coach Snall out there. Now he's been tossed.
Wow.
Whoa, my. Home plate umpire, Angel
my
Campos,
goodness.
said, nope, not today. And now Snall going to chase him to the right side of home plate. A couple of other colleagues come in, trying to separate him. Now Snall just threw one of the umpires down on the ground.
I don't believe what we're watching.
They're going to need security here. Wow.
I can't believe what we're watching right now.
Now they're having a conversation, still awfully heated. They're asking Coach Snall to leave the field of play. He is not really relenting at the moment.
Oh, they're going to have to get the police at this point. Those 4 aren't getting him off the field.
Yeah,
I cannot believe what we just watched.
Nothing like LSU broadcasters completely and erroneously describing something that did not take place.
And the umpire was not thrown down. The umpire had very poor leverage and footwork. If he was an offensive lineman, same thing would have happened.
I mean, just if you were listening to the broadcast,
Throw him down!
You think he assaulted an umpire?
Like you're on one of those swamp boats out in the middle of nowhere in Louisiana listening to the broadcast, and you're like going, what in the world's going on up there?
They're going to have to get the police.
He said police.
Oh, wow.
We're like, there's no way you're going to get him off the field. The police is going to have to come get him.
Well, it's their job to paint a picture, Pat, but not an incorrect picture.
That was the most erroneous situation I think I've ever heard described on radio.
That was
the guy was a klutz.
Yeah, total klutz.
The guy fell. He wasn't pushed.
He came in way too hot. He did that to himself.
And then the dude stands up with his 2 fingers out saying that's a 2-game suspension because he touched me.
Well,
Okay,
if anybody should get blamed, it should have been the umpire that was trying to shoo him away and saying, hey, I got this. I'm going to take this one-on-one with the coach. But
So the
It was entertaining.
Well, the notorious thin-skinned Angel Campos, he was the home plate umpire. He ejected, if you remember a couple years ago, I think it was one of the Tennessee players in the Super Regional for nothing. Just like he looked at him wrong and like tossed him. I think it was a regional game 2 years ago. I think it was like Cam Canarella, something like that.
Well, it's Tennessee. They were expecting something, Pat.
Probably. So that took place, and
I didn't agree with the quick trigger to not in that in a championship game. No,
he didn't cuss him.
nope. He was questioning balls and strikes. Where if you're potentially in the final game of the season, you know what's on the line. Pat, I'm going to, if I'm umpiring, I'm going to give him a little bit more.
Absolutely. Are you kidding me?
I'm gonna throw the guy out.
You know what I would do? I would find anybody else in the dugout to throw out before I throw him out.
Sure.
I mean, I find the bat boy. I find the chaplain on the team. I find somebody else, but you do not throw him out in that situation.
No.
0. And Angel Campos, he's a former Major League Baseball umpire. He worked as an umpire from 2007 through 2014. He appeared in 585 games. He ejected 23 players. He began his professional umpiring career in the minor leagues in 2000. He left Major League Baseball, and then he transitioned to officiating college baseball games, including what you saw this weekend at the College World Series. So,
Do we think that was hey, Major League Baseball told him, maybe go try college? Maybe that's better suited for you.
yeah, probably started getting ratings.
Has he thought about the
It was a situation.
WNBA?
So immediately, if you see the clip in which the umpire's raising his two fingers, he's indicating to everyone that that's a 2-game suspension because you touched me. So even if they played tonight, Schnall would not be available to that, and then he was going to have to serve a couple other game suspension.
So is he now suspended for the first game of next year?
I'm sure there's going to be a review. I'm sure that he will.
Surely
get that.
they will take care of that.
They will get that taken care of.
This is one where I would want the College Sports Commission or whatever it's called to get involved.
Absolutely.
Now, the NCAA, as soon as all of this took place, they gave a 3-paragraph reasoning to why he was ejected. And then they had to come back, the NCAA, and they had to clarify their statement right after the game. They said that Schnall was going to be suspended for 2 games for bumping an umpire. That was not the case. He was going to be suspended 2 games because of the prolonged argument that he had after being ejected. So if you're ejecting me, I'm going to get my money's worth.
That's what every manager does.
But apparently in the NCAA, you cannot. So they can deem that as you're being a fool and you're it's delaying the game. So,
It was like 45 seconds.
Coastal Carolina's AD Chance Miller went to social media last night. They released a statement at Coastal Carolina. The ejections of head coach Kevin Schnall and assistant Matt Schilling in the bottom of the first inning drastically altered the trajectory of the must-win game for our team. These decisions were made with alarming level of haste, without an attempt of de-escalation, and deprived our student athletes of the leadership that they have relied on throughout the historic postseason run. This was not about a single call. It's about the process and professionalism. In the biggest moment of the college baseball season, our program and its student athletes deserve better. The NCAA must reevaluate how it trains, assigns, and reviews umpires in championship environments. We expect consistency, communication, and the same level of excellence from officials that we demand from our teams. Our players have represented the university, the conference, and college baseball with integrity and heart. They deserve the opportunity to compete for a national championship with their leaders, and were denied that opportunity today.
I'm not trying to change the rules of baseball. I'm just thinking from the NCAA standpoint on the delay. That's really hypocritical. And think about college basketball, how many delays we get. Think about college football, how many delays we get. And then if a head coach gets an unsportsmanlike penalty, is he suspended for the next game? There's just a lot of hypocrisy there, and I think they should review everything in the process. But I'm not saying that LSU doesn't win the championship.
No, him getting
If he's still
ejected
coaching,
is
no.
not why they lost, but
Well, let's hear from the manager that got tossed in the first inning. This is his long explanation of what took place and what happened.
There's 25,000 people there, and I vaguely hear a warning issued. As the head coach, I was an assistant for 24 years, and as an assistant, you're almost treated like a second-level citizen, and you can't say a word. Now, as a head coach, I think it is your right to get an explanation of why we got warned. And I'm 48 years old. I shouldn't get shooed by another grown man, right? So when I come out to ask what the warning is, a grown man shooed me. So at that point, I can now hear him say, it was a warning issued for arguing balls and strikes. And at that point, I said, because you missed 3. At that point, ejected. If that warrants an ejection, I'm the first one to stand here like a man and apologize. 2 words that define our program are own it. And what does that mean is you have to own everything that you do without blame, without defending yourself, without excuses. If you guys watched the video, there was a guy that came in extremely aggressively, tripped over Campos's foot, embarrassed in front of 25,000, immediately goes 2-game suspension and said, bumping the umpire. Immediately does that. There was no bump. He was embarrassed. I shouldn't be held accountable for a grown man's athleticism. They'll retract it, though, because now it's excessive. And the reason why it was excessive, because I was trying to say, I didn't bump him. It is what it is. But if that warranted an ejection, man, there'd be a lot of ejections. As an umpire, I feel like it's your job to manage the game, the national championship game, with some poise, some calmness, and a little bit of tolerance.
I 100% agree with what he just said.
I'm not responsible for another man's athleticism.
That's a
It's
fire line.
such
Or
a good
lack
line.
thereof is what he should have added, but that's a
such a
great
good
line.
line.
Yeah.
But he's spot on. That's exactly what happened. Is that dude showed his ass and got embarrassed on national television and decided to retaliate and make it look like it wasn't his fault. And so you're trying to make someone else a villain when you handled a situation poorly as a professional.
Look, I'm a big fan of Kevin Schnall going back to the regional in Conway, where he called out Kevin O'Sullivan and let it be known about some of the things that were going on behind the scenes, which later became viral. But
I saw LSU fans yesterday. Oh, this is karma for what y'all did to Kevin O'Sullivan. Oh, you mean calling somebody out for being an ass?
yeah, agree with him 100%. If he knew that going up there was going to get him ejected, that would have changed probably the way he went about it. But he's going up there thinking, yeah, I'm gonna get a little bit of a buffer here.
You're fighting for your team. It's the first inning. You feel like you've already been robbed on 3 calls?
They had 2
That's what you
coaches
should
left
do.
after the first inning.
Well, and they even noted that the first base coach that got ejected, apparently that is essentially the assistant coach. Like, that's the guy in charge if Kevin Schnall gets ejected. And so not only did they take him out, you take out the guy that would have filled his shoes as well. Ridiculous.
Yep. So
Did we ever get why the first base? I mean, I know he got in on the argument, but did we ever know what he said that was worthy of being ejected? Because it seemed like it was between Schnall and the umpire.
I honestly think that the first base coach, probably if you were able to hear everything that was said, he's probably the one that should have been tossed, period, based on some of the things that I heard that he potentially said.
Gotcha.
So I think he was a little bit more,
Colorful?
yes, in his language than what you heard from the manager, or excuse me, the head coach. A little bit different.
And that's your fall guy. That's your fall guy if you're Kevin Schnall, your first base coach, who can, if he chooses to, use the 4-letter expletives and call the umpire what he wants, he gets tossed. But for that exchange, what Kevin Snall just relayed to us and told everybody after the game, that didn't warrant an ejection.
Well, the good news for LSU fans is that not really sure it would have made a difference or not. Just the way that LSU was playing and the way they played yesterday. So the SEC, they find themselves 6 straight College World Series champions. That's 7 of the last 8, 8 out of the last 11, 11 of the last 16. So,
well, for LSU to do it against that Coastal team, to have a 1-0 shutout and to quiet the bats for the most part, incredible. Go Tigers.
Well, and that was the question on Friday. It was, all right, how does Coastal respond if they are in a 1-1 series, right? You're on a 20-game win streak. What happens if you lose one? And unfortunately for them, they just weren't able to pick themselves up off the mound.
So the situation with the umpires, that overshadowed anything that took place in the game. And so the three-man front Twitter poll question of the day, which major college sport has the poorest officiating? Is it women's basketball, men's basketball, football, or baseball? And as of this moment, a very healthy number of folks have voted already this morning. Men's basketball at 45.4%, according to our listeners, has the poorest officiating. Followed at number 2 would be football. At 3 is baseball, and women's basketball comes in a distant fourth.
It's just interesting that that's a perception, and I wonder why. Because in talking with Andy Kennedy, and it came up on the Inferno, he said, it's maybe a little bit of a misconception about college basketball officiating. He said in his instance, for the most part, they do get it right about 95% of the time. So
I think maybe some of that too is just the frustrations of how long the reviews take, how many, maybe people factor that in as, why does it take you so long to make these simple calls? And there's so many of them.
Yeah.
So 45% of our audience says that college basketball has the poorest officiating. And so you add that to women's basketball, and that's almost 60% of the audience saying basketball just sucks. Like the officiating's terrible.
College basketball has the review process for me is what just adds to it.
Yeah, and hopefully these new rule changes will cut that down, and we'll see, how people feel next year.
That's why I thought it was hypocritical. And ultimately, we want them to get it right, but I don't know if there's a way to expedite that process. But talking about downtime and obstructing the game or delaying the game, however, what terminology they use with the Coastal Carolina manager is silly, because the final 2 minutes of college basketball game seems like it takes 2 hours.
Well, Alabama heat and humidity can be brutal, but don't let it affect your home and family. Keep them comfortable with an affordable Trane cooling system. They've been recognized as America's most trusted brand 11 consecutive years, and they're the official cooling partner here at Jox. So find a comfort specialist near you at Trane.com.
Oh, you love bullet board material in the middle of summertime, and the quarterback at Florida State University has opened his mouth and had some interesting things to say about the University of Alabama. Oh, yeah. We will tell you what Tom Castellanos had to say in regards to Alabama and no more Nick Saban. That's next on Three Man Front. LSU crowned the national champions in baseball, second crown in the last 3 years for the Bayou Bengal Tigers as they knock off Coastal Carolina. So the baseball season is officially in the books. Another one for the Southeastern Conference. If you're looking for a pontoon boat this summer, Poorhouse Branch Marine at Smith Lake is the only dealer on the lake to have Avalon pontoons. Avalon pontoons are known for their luxury, comfort, and performance. And pair it with the most fuel-efficient engine on the water from Honda Marine. Poorhouse Branch Marine at Smith Lake also has Tahoe pontoons ready for family fun. Get it today with the in-house financing. See it all at poorhousebranchmarina.com. Well, Thomas Castellanos, gives an interview with On3 Sports talking about how the Florida State Seminoles are going to put the nation on notice with a Week 1 win against Alabama. Quoting directly, "I'm excited, man. People, I don't know if they know, but you go back and watch every first game that I played in. We always start fast. I dreamed of moments like this. I dreamed of playing against Alabama. They don't have Nick Saban to save them. I just don't see them stopping me." End of quote.
Well, I guess we're even then because we don't have Nick Saban to save us, and Bill O'Brien couldn't save him because he had to bench him. So, even playing field, right? Isn't that how that works?
He goes on to say, and then the ACC. I feel like I tore the ACC up by my damn self for the last 2 years, and now I'm with a squad. I hope people don't think that Florida State is going to be the same team it was last year because we have weapons. People can just sit back in zone coverage and watch me. End quote.
This is the same quarterback that got benched at Boston College last season. Correct.
Oh, Tommy.
I feel like I tore the ACC up by my damn self for the last 2 years.
Oh, that's so good.
Why in the world?
Why would you say that?
Would anybody at Florida State in the sports information office, they should be fired. Why would you allow
I don't think
him
you're going to see him doing any more
to do an
interviews.
interview to open his mouth and insert his foot so firmly in the back of his throat?
That's when you're calling the outlet and going, "We will pay you not to air that."
Oh, that's so good. But it's just like, I mean, I saw they had a recruiting picture this week of him and whoever their new quarterback they signed is, and he's like handing the keys to the kingdom off to this new quarterback. I'm like, brother, you've been there for 6 months and you got benched last year. Are we really doing this?
He's got a
Benched at
squad
Boston
now.
College.
He's got a squad now.
That went 2-10. He had a better team last year.
I feel like I tore the ACC up by my damn self for the last 2 years.
Oh, Thomas. Now, if you had said FSU Dave did an interview with On3 Sports and those were the
There's no
quotes,
way. I was thinking of FSU Dave as I was hearing those comments, and FSU Dave
he would
had to be cringing listening to that.
I dreamed of moments like this. I dreamed of playing against Alabama. They don't have Nick Saban to save them. I just don't see them stopping me.
Well, in 2023, he had 15 touchdowns and 14 interceptions.
Well, not only are you going to take a shot,
Those were tip balls, Conrad.
That's right.
Those were tip balls.
All of
Those
them.
were not his fault.
you're going to take a shot at the 11 guys who are going to be defending you. Now you've made it personal for Kalen DeBoer. Which I'm sure Kalen DeBoer doesn't get into this kind of stuff and bulletin board fodder from a quarterback at Florida State or really any other quarterback. But, maybe something to think about. You got some downtime.
It's just the same thing that we went through with the whole Diego Pavia interview, right? I love the confidence. If that's your quarterback, you want the confidence. But why?
You were
Why are
benched
you
at
doing this
Boston
to yourself?
College.
Yep. Well, no, he was tearing the ACC up.
By his damn self.
That's right. The last 2
I
years.
wonder what Gus told him. I wonder if Gus has spoken to him yet.
He probably just put on the Cam Newton tape and said, "That looks just like you, boy. That looks just like you.
I don't think Gus probably
I see a lot of
said
Cam
that.
in you, boy."
I don't think he said that.
Like, come on, man.
Oh.
And look, whatever. You know what? We can eat our words in 2 months.
He
if
might
they
have
go and
said-
steamroll Alabama.
He might
but
have said
come
you
on.
got a lot of the same attributes as a John Rice Plumlee.
I'd much rather have John Rice Plumlee than Castellanos, I think. He was a good player.
Yeah. I appreciate
We'll
comments
see.
like that, so we can talk about them here on this program.
Oh, that's going to be hanging at racks.
So I'm overlooking.
I think that's
I love this.
Of course.
This is great.
Alabama fan.
Absolutely.
If you're, I'd be crazy. Now, some people, did you really tear it up?
Well, that's the thing. When people
Could say the exact same.
I thought Cam Ward and Cade Klubnik were tearing it up last year,
It's
but I
not-
guess it was Thomas Castellanos.
Let's be honest. It's not like you were playing in the SEC
Well,
or the
Molly-
Big Ten or the Big 12.
Yeah. Valid.
Dave is texting me as we speak.
Was he
Is he
cringing?
losing his mind?
Was that accurate that he was cringing?
Update?
Just like you said, he's not happy.
Oh.
He's not happy with Castellanos.
Well, I hope he still wants to take the trip. I don't want Thomas to ruin our trip. I mean, come on, Thomas.
What quarterback in college football could come out and say this and we would say, yeah, I totally believe him?
I mean, if Garrett Nussmeier came out and said, "Oh, we're going to torch Alabama this year," okay, like maybe, like you're good, I'll give you that.
But we're not having the same conversation if he says it.
No,
No,
now we're going to poke some fun at it because
Sure.
they got demolished last year. But
I mean, do I think that Castellanos is better than DJU? Yes.
of course.
everybody, yes,
But to make that type of statement, and I know that he was benched, but Molly was just showing me the ACC stats last year. He was not even listed as one of the top 14 quarterbacks.
well, that's because he got benched. Patty didn't.
No, I understand that. He's not eligible for any of the postseason awards because he didn't play enough.
Exactly.
But, I mean, for him to make the statement like he tore the league up.
Technically, he's number 16. I did some more digging. Don't worry.
16
good.
of the quarterbacks in the
Has
ACC.
Vegas reflected his comments yet?
Yeah, I think they
You
just
seen any
added
line movement?
Yeah,
Added a
another touchdown
touchdown.
to Alabama. They're now a 21.5 point favorite as opposed to the 13.5. Oh, you got to love the offseason.
It's great.
The talking season that Steve Spurrier used to talk about.
Let's do more of this.
I'm really the poor SID that allowed this to happen. They're having meetings about this right now.
I think you might hear from him at ACC Media Days, but other than that, I would think the week before the game is the next time you're going to hear from Mr. Castellanos.
Yeah, ACC Media Days. I said, you gave a comment a couple weeks ago in which you said that Florida State's going to shock the world, and you tore up the ACC by yourself.
What is define tore up?
I would define tearing up the ACC as what Cam Ward did last year because he tore up the ACC.
Was he referencing 2023 with the 15 touchdowns and the 14 interceptions?
I think so. To be fair, he did have 1,000 rushing yards
He
that
did.
year, which is good. But last year he had 100 and something. So
They don't have Nick Saban to save them. I just don't see them stopping me.
well, guess he took a big jump in the offseason. Must have been training with Dylan Raiola and some of those other cats.
That's exactly what it is. It is Reaction Monday. At 11 o'clock, we're going to go down to the Bayou. We're going to talk to Sean Fox as he'll give us some details about LSU's national championship. Also talk some football with him. We'll see if Garrett Nussmeier has made a silly statement like Thomas Castellanos in regards to playing Alabama this year. All that straight ahead on this Reaction Monday, Jox 94.5. So LSU baseball wins the national championship. Last night, Oklahoma City, they win the NBA Finals over Indiana, 103-91. It was the Thunder's first ever NBA championship. 68 regular season games they won, tied for the fifth most in NBA history. They set a league record for the margin of victory, almost 13 points a game this year. They had the league MVP on their side before reaching the NBA championship. Home teams now are 16-4 in game sevens in the NBA Finals. That's a pretty hefty wagering total right there. 16-4. Over the last 7 years, the NBA has crowned 7 different champions. So, parity or whatever you want to say, the NBA, I guess the Golden State Warriors were the last team that won back-to-back titles. But 7 years, 7 different champions.
Warmer weather's here, summer months, and now that the rain is gone, that means you're going to have some fun out there in the yard with the family and the friends. And our friends at Stark Exterminators want to remind you, it's not only inside your home or your place of business, but it's outside the perimeter of your property that you need to be concerned with. Whether it's the stinging insects, the biting kind that turn to itchy bug bites, you don't need any of those. They may serve a purpose in nature, but not on your skin, not on your family. You can take care of that with Stark Exterminators. Call today for the free home or business pest inspection like we did over 3 years ago at the Roberts House. 855-STARK now or go to starkexterminators.com. I just appreciate the fact that they've been family-owned for over 61 years. You're going to deal with just fine folks who are relationship people, and ultimately your satisfaction as a customer is 100% guaranteed. That's why people stay with Stark. Stark Exterminators, 855-STARK now or go to starkexterminators.com, and you can have peace of mind knowing they're going to use the most environmentally effective solutions available for you, your family, and your pets. And let's be honest, your pets are your family. Stark Exterminators. Call today, 855-STARK now or go to starkexterminators.com. And when you do so, tell them Landrum from 3-Man Front sent you.
So this last weekend was the last weekend that high school kids could visit on campus, recruiting weekends, as things are going to start wrapping up now as we're just about a month or so away from some high schools getting ready for their practices. Alabama football, they received their third defensive line commitment of the weekend as J.J. Finch, a 3-star from Warren Central High School in Indianapolis, Indiana. He announced yesterday afternoon the 6'3", 278-pound lineman took an official visit to Alabama on May the 30th. He also visited LSU, Miami, Michigan, Purdue, and Tennessee, multiple schools who felt they were in a very strong position for his commitment, including LSU and Tennessee, during the last month, but he chose Alabama. Michigan also cited that they called him one of the keys to their defensive recruiting in the offseason. So he's a 3-star. We'll see if that number improves before he ends up going to wherever because he says right now he's going to Alabama, but we'll have to wait and see if that really holds true. And just moments ago, Alabama has flipped a running back that had committed to Brett Bielema and the University of Illinois, Javari Barnett. He told On3 on Monday that he is heading to Tuscaloosa. He is from Tampa Bay, Florida. He had offers from Auburn and Baylor. So it's very interesting that Alabama has spent a lot of time there in the upper Midwest. They get the number 1 player of the state of Nebraska who had committed to Iowa State, the quarterback, Tamala, and now they have gone and they have pilfered one of Brett Bielema's prize recruits, a running back who is now going to Alabama.
Bird is not going to be happy about that one.
No, but I'm sure Illinois' got plenty in the cupboard. They're ready to go.
Oh, they're elite.
Yes.
They're going to make a college football playoff run this year.
Auburn had a commitment. He flipped over the weekend, not to Auburn, but flipped to Georgia. Auburn's now down a commitment. 4-star linebacker Shadarius Tootle flipped his pledge to Georgia. The Tigers are now without a linebacker commitment in the 2026 class. So they're going to have to do a little work when it comes to the linebacker position there at Auburn. Tootle had been committed to Auburn since last July.
Yeah.
Big Cat weekend.
He'd already been to all the fun parties.
Georgia hosted him for an official visit this weekend. And so he has now decided to jump ship.
Tootle flips to be a poodle.
Yep. It's going to be a
That's your
bulldog.
headline, Molly.
That's good.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So
that's what PG calls them, the poodles.
The poodles. And speaking of recruiting, did you see on social media that at the Alabama camp there was a very famous son of an SEC head coach in attendance this weekend?
Got to do a fake press conference too.
He sure did.
Impersonate old daddy.
That was a great press conference.
It was.
Knox Kiffin, a 2028 quarterback prospect, he took part in the Alabama football camp in Tuscaloosa. The quarterback prospect Kiffin was pictured in shorts, a T-shirt, and cleats, working with other quarterback prospects. Meanwhile, Alabama staffers and quarterbacks tossed snaps to make his throws. Lane Kiffin also posted a photo of his son with Ty Simpson, the front runner to be Alabama's quarterback. And as Conrad said, he got behind the old lectern and did a fake press conference, acting like his daddy.
That's really cool though, that he's getting to go and experience what a lot of these recruits get to experience, and that his dad is, even though he coaches for I guess you would call him a rival school. They're all rivals if you're playing in the same conference. Supporting it, wants what's best for his son.
You know that's cool for Lane, though. To take him to Alabama and go through that experience and know that it also makes you feel old when you realize that Lane Kiffin's kid will be probably a pretty big-time recruit in, 2 or 3 years.
Does he have any stars yet? Does he have...
Do they do that for 2020? I don't know. I mean, from what I understand, he's pretty good. So I don't know how good, but...
Because he transferred to Oxford High School, right?
Yeah, he moved there, I think, this year.
So he'll play for them...
This fall. Correct.
Okay.
So, but yeah, cool for
and when does Lane's daughter graduate Ole Miss?
I have no idea. 2 years, 3 years, maybe.
In any way, shape, or form, are we kind of pulling, if coaches are still in their current places, that he signs with Jeff Lebby in Mississippi State?
I hope he goes to Tennessee.
Tennessee would be good. Or Jimbo gets back in the game and he signs with Jimbo Fisher,
who's now the head coach at USC because Lincoln Riley got fired.
Let's play this out.
Yeah.
That's a perfect scenario. There is no doubt about it. Well, I know we've got some warm weather right now. Thank goodness we did not get the rain over the weekend, but I've been telling you about Abide Roofing and all these storms that we've had. I know some of you have reached out to me, and I've given you Abide's number at 205-922-7134. Go to their website, abideroof.com. They have that free roof inspection. They'll send a crew out. It's a local crew. It's a locally owned company, and they know our weather. They know our situation in Central Alabama better than anybody. So you've got a crew that's going to be able to come out, no strings attached, no pressure. They can give you that free roof inspection. They just want to give you an honest look at what's going on top of your roof. Trust me, folks, I took advantage of that a couple years ago with Travis Lloyd from Abide Roofing. He came out to my house. I had some problems in my attic that ultimately led to some water leaking into my kitchen. So he was able to get on my roof, identify the problems, deal with my insurance company, got all of that handled and taken care of. I 100% trust these guys. They're licensed, bonded, insured. They're the real deal. Your roof protects everything you care about, and that's why you need to make sure that it's done properly. That's why Travis Lloyd and Abide Roofing comes in. 205-922-7134 or abideroof.com.
We call it Reaction Monday here on the show because we allow you to react. We love it. We love your interaction. We'll get to your text, your phone calls as we continue this Monday edition of Three Man Front on Jox.
You know, we were just talking about this new flipped commitment for the University of Alabama, Javari Bennett, running back out of Tampa, Florida. And you got to love these services. I mean, everybody sees this talent differently. They have different models that they look at and how they grade and rank these players. 247 has him as a 3-star commitment. On3 has him as a 4-star, and Conrad on his website just put him as a 5-star.
Yay!
Yeah, I don't know where the miscommunication is, but this guy's a 5-star kid and a talent.
5-star plus.
Yeah, 5 plus.
Wow. Pretty amazing.
I just can't believe Tamala hasn't been bumped up to a 5-star. I mean, it's normally like a week, you give it kind of that period of time.
The Bama bounce?
Yeah, and then you get the bump up to a 5-star, obviously, because it's Alabama. So.
Oh, I just saw this. Thomas Castellanos has just quoted on that player that just flipped. I'm just kidding. See, I had him for a second.
Yeah, you did.
Yes, let's do it.
Is there a swagger category where they factor that into their rankings?
Yeah, Castellanos just said that this player does not hold a candle to him.
Couldn't cut it in the ACC.
No.
Man, there's a ton of reaction, not only to what Tommy Castellanos said over the weekend, but the LSU Coastal Carolina College World Series, the ejection, all of that coming in on the text line 834-9450 or 800-239-WJOX. That's where we go now. And PG appears. Hey, PG, how are you?
Hey, that's great material. Unbelievable. I just thought I was hearing about the Miami Hurricanes of '92. Toretta, Lamar Thomas, and all that, how they were going to kill Alabama down there at the Sugar Bowl. And that's where I got a nickname Julio from, because I said, yeah, Miami's going to beat Alabama so bad, they ain't going to know what hit them when Jay Barker can't hit the broadside of a barn door with a football. Well, I ate my words for that crow for that game, remembering the national championship. So I guess I
George T. had something to say about that.
Yeah, he sure did. But, this guy I guess he thinks he's the next Jameis Winston, and poor Don, what happened
Let's
the
hope
last
not.
time Jameis come in there and did something to Auburn, and I think it was a national championship game, wasn't it? But, I just couldn't believe y'all got to put FSU Dave on the stand tomorrow. He's got to go up there and explain this because –
well, to his credit, he
Yeah.
has been very quick on the text line, and he
We'll
sent
read
me
his
a
text.
text, and he was not happy with these comments. So he is not endorsing.
Oh, my God.
He's not endorsing this at all.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I'll be mad at my quarterback. I mean, that is just bulletin board
You mean
material.
DJ
And
Lagway hasn't made some type of reference on how they're going to beat Georgia this year, and that how he tore up the
No, but
SEC last year?
Yesterday, Pat, you ain't gonna believe this. Yesterday, must have been a Georgia fan out for Feinbaum up at the Larry's funeral. I mean, it's a celebration of life, and there was Georgia fans, and oh my God, you ought to heard what they were telling us. You talk about trying to bring me in. They said, "This is y'all's time this year. You will beat us this year. We feel that coming." It's
That's
your
what
year
Georgia
with
people were saying about Florida?
Yeah, to me. And they said, because I had my Pelham Gators stuff on, basically my national championship basketball shirt and hat. And they were just saying, yeah, I think it's your year this year. We're about to lose. We've already beat you 40 times in a row. So we're destined to lose. And this is the year that probably Florida will do it. So they were, how they're doing. They're baiting me.
They are. But, hey, given the game last year, you don't have an injury. There's a lot of people that firmly believe that Florida wins that game.
I do, too. When he got hurt with that hamstring, that did it in then. But I'll be honest with you, I loved it. You keep saying that, it would be nice to beat you. We owe you, Georgia, anyway, them Poodles. So and you're right, I do call them the Poodles. But if we could beat them this year, that'll make my season anyway, because we need to break these, like we did LSU last year, breaking their winning streak. And, of course, we've lost 7 in a row to Alabama. So I can't brag on anything, run my mouth on the Tide until we finally, if we can ever beat them. But, that was just great. That was gold right there. I know Dave's probably mad I'm running my mouth, but, that's what brings out. It's starting the football season. It's time to start either put up or shut up. We got to start, enjoy it, run that mouth where we'll have fun with it. We can't be like X's and O's and all that. We got to have these callers going at it.
That's right. That's what makes it great.
But guys, thanks, guys. We enjoyed it yesterday. It was a great time. Don will tell you all about it.
I'm sure you will. Thank you, PG.
You know it will.
Appreciate you. All right, from PG, let's go to Chris, who wants to talk about Thomas Castellanos' comments. Hey, Chris, go.
What's going on, guys? Can you believe what is this? What is the Wild West? What is the shooting his season promo or something? Like what? He hadn't even been here more than 6 minutes, he's already talking trash.
Yep.
And also, Conrad, we got problems. Want to know why?
Why's that?
Because guess what? You didn't play the sound effect I told you. You probably forgot of whenever Bama signs a new player because they automatically sign NFL.
Yeah, why don't you play the sounder?
The NFL draft.
That's actually a really good idea. I like that.
Why don't you listen to Chris? Why didn't you do it?
I'm sorry, Chris.
Why aren't you finding it right now to play it?
That's perfect. Every time we get an announcement for play the
listeners are like customers. They're always right. So if he wants something done, then do it.
That's one. Number two, since we're doing shoot promos, man, I might as well get my shots off for PG and say, for Golden Dome and Bama haters, last time anybody cared about the convicts and the Catholics, it was a very unethical, intimate relationship between the two. But that is in the Catholic Church. Yeah, shot.
Oh no.
Yeah,
let's not do that.
Last but not least, what can I say? I mean, I'm thinking about going down to, since we're shooting, I'm thinking about going down. Let me tell you something, Chris and Conrad, in the words of, instead of calling you Mean Gene, I'm thinking about going down to the Vanderbilt game with some Raid, a black Appiato with Diego Pavia face on in the sledgehammer and saying passing Ryan Williams the Raid first in the Piatto. If it ain't working, then he's going to take the sledgehammer. All right, you guys take care.
Thank you, Chris.
Chris out. There it is.
Yep.
Well done. A little late.
Yeah. That'd have been
maybe somebody
nice.
else will flip today.
Yeah.
You know what?
What other 3-star players out there for Alabama to flip?
Audience is always changing.
Actually, I do think there's one from Rutgers that they're working on right now, if I'm being honest.
Are you serious? Is it a 3-star?
Yeah, I'm being dead serious.
We'll nuke that story and we'll serve it up in the third hour of the show with the sound effect.
Sounds good.
And people just joining us will have no idea that we've had this conversation and the planning on the air.
We had a lot of conversation about what took place in Omaha, Nebraska yesterday as LSU, they win their national championship, second in the last 3 years. Sean Fox is going to join us coming up in just a couple of minutes. He is the sports director down in Ruston, Louisiana, Sports Talk 97.7. We ask you the Twitter poll question of the day. We encourage you to go vote. Which major college sport has the poorest officiating? Right now at 45.6%, men's basketball. Followed at number 2, college football at 22.2%. Baseball is at 16.7%, and women's basketball is 15.5%. So women's basketball and baseball is garnering a little bit more attention since we brought this up about 45 minutes ago.
Text line is open, 205-834-9450. A lot of reaction to the ejection of Coastal Carolina's coaches in the College World Series finals. Paul, big LSU fan, just text in, go Tigers. Paul, I know you enjoyed it. You're a big LSU baseball fan. Happy for you, brother. Jake asked Molly, what temperature do you keep your home thermostat?
Like 68.
Okay.
Wow.
I'm trying the Alabama power tips when I leave during the day. I'm setting it on 78. See if that makes a difference.
That's going to be fun when you get home.
Wow. Yeah, but if it's 78 inside my house,
still a lot
96 outside, be like walking into a walk-in freezer,
you
baby.
You have fans going during the day?
Of course.
Okay. That helps.
Yeah. All right. Hour number 2, more of your text, your phone calls as well. More college football news we'll get to. 3-man front on a Monday on Jox.
We begin hour number 2 here on Three Man Front. This is Reaction Monday. A lot about the College World Series. LSU wins the national championship. We'll go down to the Bayou, Ruston, Louisiana, to be exact. Our good friend Sean Fox is going to join us momentarily as we talk about LSU's dominance as they win the national championship second time in the last 3 years. So wow, is that an Alabama update?
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
Did Alabama just have another player that
Did
flipped
Alabama
to the
flip
tide?
somebody?
Might have been Miami that flipped somebody.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe a Georgia wide receiver?
Yeah, Vance Spafford has just decommitted from Georgia. Man, poor Kirby. He flips to Miami.
Yep. He went on that visit. Carson Beck was telling him, you don't want to go there.
Man.
Said, I got an in with one of the twins here if you need some help.
How about this? This is the 4th decommitment for the Georgia Bulldogs in this cycle.
Oh, it's crumbling. This is early signs of deterioration there in the Empire.
This kid was from Mission Viejo, California, 4-star wide receiver, 5'11", 175, and he's heading out to Miami.
They having to flip linebackers from Auburn, and now they're losing kids to Miami? What's going on?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh, well. One thing's for sure, LSU, they've got a quarterback in Garrett Nussmeier. We will talk a little football a little bit later in the conversation, but joining us now from 97.7 Sports Talk down in the boot there in Ruston, Louisiana, Sean Fox joins us. Sean, have you gotten any sleep? Have you been up all night long celebrating another baseball national championship?
There have been one too many cheap vodka Jello shots consumed over the last 2 weeks, boys. Yes, I think everybody's waking up with a hangover today.
Well,
but that's what we do, right?
Well, I mean, listen, there's nobody better. I mean, the 8th national championship in LSU baseball history. Just kind of put it in the grand scheme of LSU baseball. How sweet was this one as compared to the others?
Well, in the words of Ricky Bobby, pretty much LSU baseball peas excellence. It's look, they're the standard bearer. I mean, I know USC's got more national championships overall, but they really haven't been nationally relevant in a very long time. Guys, this is, and we've talked about this before, there's certain programs that have expectations that, I mean, probably unrealistic, but the fan base expects a certain amount from Alabama football, a certain amount from Kentucky basketball, and a certain amount for LSU baseball. There's just, again, there's an expectation. If you don't make it to Omaha, at least at LSU, a lot of people think you failed as a season. Look, this is that again, I think it might be the only job in the country baseball-wise where that is the expectation. I think this year was very different. Like, I think 2023, talent-wise, was a superior team, but I thought the way that Jay Johnson pieced this team together with high school play, with some returning players, but they had a lot of transfer players involved. A former Auburn player, Chris Stanfield, who played a huge role on the team this season. I thought this was his best job of getting a bunch of new guys together and gelling. I don't think it was a more talented team, but overall, where does it stand? I don't know. You're never going to be better than the first, right? The Warren Morris walk-off home run was special. The 2023 team was an all-timer because you had the 1 and 2 picks in the draft. This one, just for me, it kind of solidifies Jay Johnson as arguably the best baseball coach in the country, having winning 2 of 3, 2 in 3 years. I mean, it just kind of shows you he is the ultimate. I'd say program builder is not the right word because the program's been built, but they don't rebuild, they reload. And I think he has been, without a doubt, a spectacular hire for LSU. I think that just kind of proved it last night. That put the stamp on it.
I have to ask you, Sean, because we let off the show with it. LSU, great job and so impressive in what they were able to do, not only in the regional play, super regional, but paving the way there with Arkansas and Coastal Carolina, arguably two of the hottest teams in the country. Yeah. But Kevin Schnall, the ejection, just your reaction to what unfolded there yesterday.
Well, you don't argue balls and strikes, apparently, but I thought it was kind of Bush League. Like, I really thought that Angel Campos made it about himself, and I don't want to say it took away from the win, but I would even say most LSU fans didn't like it. I mean, it really did turn into the ump show, and nobody tunes in for that. It just could have put a bad taste in your mouth. And then, again, that's going to be the conversation now from the Dubs. Well, what happens if he's not ejected? I still think LSU wins. But again, that just puts a sour taste. And I thought it was Bush League to run him so quickly.
Talking to Sean Fox, joining us, Sports Talk 97.7 down in Ruston, Louisiana, joins us on the Higginbotham Hotline. I want to ask you about Cade Anderson, his performance, which really set the tone, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Obviously, on Saturday night. Right now, most MLB experts, they say that he's a number 1 or a number 2 overall pick. Just talk about how special he is. I know he's left-handed, but in regards to what happened with Paul Skeens and now Cade Anderson, just kind of compare and contrast those two.
Well, Skeens, as you guys know, is one of one, and if he didn't play for a terrible organization, his win-loss record would be very different. I mean, because he's been tremendous, even though the Pirates are terrible. I really think Cade Anderson was, I'd say, a nice surprise because I personally thought going into the season that Chase Shores was going to end up being that Friday night guy, but shows you why I talk on the radio and why Jay Johnson's the head coach. And Chase Shores played a massive part. He became a much different player coming out of the bullpen, but I was really there was a lot of buzz about Cade going into the season, but I did not expect the kind of year that he had. It's just different. I mean, look, Skeens, again, he's special. He can do things not a whole lot of guys can. Cade Anderson's just a grinder to me. I don't think he has that one special pitch. I just think he's kind of, if I could say it, he kind of reminds me of like a left-handed Greg Maddux. And I know that's really, really high praise, but he knows where to put the baseball. It's very different than Skeens. But again, very, very effective. And what's really interesting is, usually they go for that left-right combination. He's actually better against right-handed hitters than left-handed hitters, which is something you don't see every day.
Where does this rank for LSU fans? I know you talked about the expectation with the baseball program, but if you're going to compare it to other sports, because they've had a lot of success in several other ones, where does this rank, I guess, as far as elation level for LSU fans?
Yeah. Okay. LSU, I think everybody, because, look, we live in the South. I think everybody, if you had to choose, everybody would pick an LSU football championship over anything. I think that is the most important sport, but LSU is a baseball school. I think it's fair to say when you've won 8, you're kind of the standard bearer. It's just the next one, guys. Like that's just where does it say? It's just the next one on the list. And right now they're already talking about what do they got to do next year to get number 9. It's kind of like Nick Saban was in the prime of Alabama. He rarely saw him smile on the post-game podium because he's already thinking about next year. I think that's what made him effective. Jay Johnson was already on the phone with recruits talking about next season. Is it great you won a national championship? Absolutely. It's just the next one when it comes to baseball.
Sean, in regards to football, let's pivot to that. We are 3 weeks away today. We will be in Atlanta, Georgia at SEC Football Media Days, and that will be the unofficial beginning of the college football season. Brian Kelly's going to be one of the first coaches that's going to speak to members of the media. When we leave Atlanta on that Thursday, where do you think LSU is going to be in the pecking order in regards to the preseason prognostications from the media?
3 or 4. I think Georgia and Texas are going to be 1, 2. You pick the order. There's a lot of buzz about Texas, so I'd probably say Texas 1, Georgia 2, and then you flip-flop LSU, Alabama 3, 4. I think those are by far going into the season the top 4 teams. And I know Alabama's got questions at quarterback, but I think they're going to be fine whoever they figure it out. But I would be shocked if that was not that 4. And again, 1, 2, Georgia, Texas. Again, you flip LSU 3, 4 with Alabama.
Okay, so after that group that you just listed, Sean, who do you believe are some of the teams that are either coin flip and you say, well, they could go 8-4, but there's the potential of a ceiling of a 10-2. Who's that next group of teams that you're very interested in?
If the Jackson Arnold fits in and I think he will, Hugh Freeze's system, I think Auburn has a chance to be a really pleasant surprise this season. I mean, they started showing out at the end of last season. If the freshman Jackson Arnold shows up, I think Auburn could be a real surprise team. And I'll tell you what, guys, I know everybody's in love with Texas they were the belle of the ball when they were coming over from the Big 12. I really like what Oklahoma did this offseason, bringing in John Mateer. For those who haven't seen him play, he's the real deal. Getting Jaden Ott from Cal. They brought Arbuckle in as the OC. Venables, we know, runs a good defense. I mean, that defense was still good last year. I think Oklahoma has a chance. Like, again, I don't think they're going to win the SEC, but as far as that next tier to win 8 or 9 games, I think Auburn and Oklahoma are those 2 teams.
If Garrett Nussmeier, who has the returning SEC quarterback, he has the best numbers of anybody. Of course,
Yes.
Dark's gone. Beck's now in the ACC. Yours is gone. Thorne is, who knows where Peyton Thorne is right now. But my point being is, what does Garrett Nussmeier have to do with that offense to put LSU in the conversation to get to the college football playoff? Just basically what's on the back of his trading card, so to speak, or does Garrett Nussmeier need to be a little bit better than what he was last year with 29 touchdowns and 12 interceptions?
Well, he had a terrible 3-game stretch. Outside of those 3 games, he was really, really good. It would help, and this was the big thing that plagued LSU last year, if you could have a consistent run game. It never happened. I think that will open up the offense immensely. And look, the offense is going to be good regardless, but I think Caden Durham can be very, very special. And I don't know why. Harlem Berry, the true freshman running back out of New Orleans, he was the number 1 running back in the country. I think they have the potential to be one of the best 1-2 punches in the SEC in the running game attack. That they have that kind of talent. That will give LSU's offense some balance. He's got an extremely talented wide receiver core, but that's kind of become the MO of LSU through the years. You do have to replace almost your entire offensive line. I think that's going to take some time, but they've got a track team of wide receivers. If he can and I think if he's not afraid, and God, I'm forgetting, Greg McElroy made the point in the LSU Ole Miss game this past season. There were opportunities that Garrett Nussmeier could take off and run. And look, you don't expect it to be like Jaden Daniels, but if he can add that element as well as like, look, man, if there's a hole, you need 5 yards, go get 6, slide. He adds that. You do that, and you cut off the turnovers. He trusts his arm a little too much, but he does have the potential to not only be the best SEC quarterback, he does have the potential to be number 1 quarterback overall. He's got that kind of skill.
Sean, if Brian Kelly, LSU, they go 9-3, miss out on the college football playoff this year, what kind of conversations are we having?
I'm not saying he's going to get fired at 9-3, but that seat is going to be extremely, extremely warm. Anything less than 9-3, there may be some trouble. 9-3, I think it's still good enough. But this team, it's year number 4. You had the number 1 transfer portal class. You have a great freshman class. You've got Nussmeier back, a returning quarterback. There are no excuses this year for Brian Kelly. You have to make the college football playoff.
I was really hoping you were going to say that meant he got fired, because we were going to play that nonstop for the next week.
I don't think it's going to get him fired. Anything less than 9-3 might, but it's going to make that seat really warm.
We can manipulate it enough to where Sean says he's going to be
That's
fired.
Fine.
And then Sean wouldn't sue us because he's a friend. That's right.
Yeah, that's fine.
I've never asked you this because it's been a hot topic of conversation in regards to the college football playoff. Right now, it appears that there's a standoff between the Big Ten and the SEC on the kind of format moving forward in 2026. If Sean Fox was named the czar of college football, which one are you adopting, the 5-11, or are you going for the automatic qualifiers?
Oh, God, that's such a loaded question.
It is. We deal with 5 of them every day.
I know. I probably, I've always been a proponent of letting the conference champions mean something. Does it think you should automatically be seated like it was last year? No, but in a perfect world, I know I'm not answering your question, I would take the conference champions. That would count, and then I'd almost have the BCS system to finish out the rest of it, because you know what? As much as we bitched and complained about the BCS, they kind of got it right most of the time. I know I'm copping out, but that's personally how I'd like to see it be done.
What's your favorite flavor of Jell-O?
Ooh, purple, of course. I just homered it up.
Yeah, we know.
And you know what? And yeah, we did eat corn dogs to celebrate last night too. I'll just save everybody the joke.
You go mustard on the corn dog?
What, is there another option?
I don't like corn dogs just because of the breading, but I would go mustard if I did. I would not go ketchup.
You just haven't had the right corn dog. You know, apparently we do that well here.
That's what I hear.
Yeah, that's the rumor. I'll be honest, guys, I've never really understood the joke, but I'll just roll with it. I mean, you want to say like LSU fans smell like whiskey? I get it, but
that's the entire SEC though.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
most of them. Yeah.
We got a drinking problem. Now, look, here's the thing: even if we didn't win the World Series, we were going to win the Jell-O Shot Challenge. You might beat us in sports, you're not going to beat us drinking.
Yeah. Ole Miss fans might have a question about that, especially on Saturdays, but we'll save that for another day. All right, Sean, are you doing double duty today, or are you done for the day? You going to play golf?
I'm strictly back to just afternoons for now.
Well, God bless you. That's good.
What's the humidity like there today?
How's your air conditioning unit? Is your car okay?
It doesn't stop. If that answers your question, it does. My AC doesn't stop. That's just what we're used to now. It's a pleasant 97 with the humidity makes it feel like 105.
Is Ruston, is that above the gnat line or below the gnat line for the gnats, the stinging, pesky insects?
They still suck here too.
Okay.
Yeah, the mosquitoes are as big as like crows, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's what I thought. They got
Correct. They look like hummingbirds sometimes.
Yeah.
We got to deal with everything here. Like the cliches.
So basically, Louisiana is kind of like Australia.
Land of the lost.
It's like there's
you just kind of, there's a snake going through my yard. You just kind of get used to it.
Oh boy. All right, Sean. Are we going to get to see you in Atlanta, or you going to just hang there?
I don't know, guys. I will say this about SEC Media Day. I used to love to go, and I think you guys would even admit this. It's not what it used to be.
That's not.
And they are awfully proud of the. And look, your audience can appreciate this. It is an investment for your station to go. They've gotten really proud of themselves when it comes to the price of that.
Oh
thing.
yeah,
So
and you've noticed it's gone up even more this year. If you got the email.
It's the point at this point, is it worth it? It's great because we get to see guys like y'all. We all get together and have fun, but they've gotten a little too pricey for me.
I do not debate that one bit, Sean.
If you really want to go and you can't make it work budget wise, we'll figure out like a Murphy bed or a rollaway bed.
Well, if anything, we'll be calling you.
That's fine. Absolutely. Give us a call.
Live from Radio Row.
Absolutely. Well, that's okay. We'll be there.
Yeah.
We'll answer.
Yep. All right, Sean. Well, have a great show this afternoon.
Thanks.
It's not like you don't have anything to talk about. So congratulations.
In the words of Coach O, go Tigers.
Go Tigers.
All right, Sean.
See you, boys.
See
Yep.
you. Great to talk to you. That is Sean Fox joining us from 97.7 Sports Talk down in Ruston, Louisiana on the Higginbotham Hotline. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
Well, we are just 2 days away now from a very exciting event that we hope you can be a part of, and that is the Birmingham Squadron's NBA Draft Party coming up on Wednesday. Yes, this Wednesday at the Edge in Homewood. We're going to be kicking things off at 6 p.m. We're all going to be there, all four of us from Three Man Front, alongside Squadron head coach TJ Saint. They're going to have food and drink specials from all the tenants of the Edge. They also have arcade card specials, a golf simulator, and even a chance to win premium season tickets as well as other giveaways. So come join us at the Edge in Homewood this Wednesday at 6 p.m. for the Squadron's NBA Draft Watch Party.
Reaction Monday, your calls, your texts, the rest of the way. 1-800-239-WJOX, 205-834-9450 on the Courtesy GMC text line. Always a great conversation with our good friend Sean Fox from Sports Talk 97.7 down in Ruston, Louisiana. As LSU crowned another national champion when it comes to baseball, their 8th in program history. You need to do something about that tree before it falls on your house. We've got a little respite between the heavy rainstorms that we've been experiencing in central Alabama over the last couple of weeks. But Golston Tree Service, they can take care of you. 205-337-4443. That is the number. And now is the time to call Golston Tree Service, because if you've noticed that these trees have all their full canopies now, we've got a lot of water. The water table is as high as it's been for a very long time, and heavy wind is going to have those trees falling over on your property, whether it's your deck, your roof, or a car in the driveway. So let Golston Tree Service come and give things a look and a trim. 205-337-4443. And don't forget, 24-hour emergency storm work service at Golston Tree Service. That number is 205-337-4443.
A lot of your reaction on the Jox text line, 205-834-9450. Going back to Tommy Castellanos, I don't know if you have that pulled up, Pat, but if you could just read a quick excerpt from what he said.
Absolutely. Tommy Castellanos, who is the new quarterback for the Florida State Seminoles, coming over as a transfer from Boston College. He gave an interview to On3 in which he said the following, that the Seminoles are going to put the nation on notice with a Week 1 win over Alabama. Direct quote, "I'm excited, man. People, I don't know if they know, but you go back and watch every first game that I played in. We always start fast. I dream of moments like this. I dreamed of playing against Alabama. They don't have Nick Saban to save them. I just don't see them stopping me." He goes on to say, "And then the ACC, I feel like I tore the ACC up by my damn self for the last 2 years, and now I'm with a squad. I hope people don't think that Florida State is going to be the same team it was last year, because we have weapons. People can't just sit back in zone coverage and watch me."
Maybe lost in some of this is, yes, they play Alabama, and that's bulletin board material. But you also have just made yourself a big old bullseye for the rest of the ACC. And those teams on your schedule tore it up.
Well, and you still have, people aren't going to just, oh, well, it's Florida State. They went 2-10. You have the brand. You went undefeated 2 years. They remember that.
FSU Dave chimes in on the text line. And he texts, "I was hoping you wouldn't find that interview, to be honest. Embarrassing." Dylan says, "Let's make bets on sack numbers during the Alabama-Florida State game. 4.5 over under." He is fleet of foot. What do you think?
Just under at 4.
Just under? So you're going under 4.5 sacks?
Just under. Because like you said, he can move around.
He can move. Ham Reb says there's confidence, then there's delusion.
Well, there's confidence and there's just dumbassery.
This is the kind of thing you say in the locker room to your teammates.
Absolutely.
Not in an interview to On3 Sports.
Going back to the College World Series, Coastal Carolina's coach getting ejected. Jamie says, probably mad because his manhood got taken away. No excuse. Maybe so.
He got embarrassed on national TV.
Going back to the radio call of what was transpiring on the field with the LSU radio broadcast. Michael says it's LSU. They were probably liquored up during the broadcast, describing the tossing of the Coastal
All right,
coach.
if you missed it, let's play it for him.
Yeah, we got to play it.
Yeah, this is the way it sounded on the LSU radio network, how they basically said that, the umpires were being attacked physically by those of the Coastal Carolina coaching staff.
And Coach Snall out there. Whoa. Now he's been tossed.
Wow.
Whoa, my. Home plate umpire, Angel Campos, said, nope, not today. And now Snall going to chase him to the right side of home plate. A couple of other colleagues come in, trying to separate him. Now Snall just threw one of the umpires down on the ground.
I don't believe what we're watching.
They're going to need security here. Wow.
I can't believe what we're watching right now.
Now they're having a conversation, still awfully heated. They're asking Coach Snall to leave the field of play. He is not really relenting at the moment.
Oh, they're going to have to get the police at this point. Those 4 aren't getting him off the field.
Yeah,
I cannot believe what we just watched.
Did I miss where the coach was carried off of the field forcefully? Did I miss that?
The Omaha police.
The police?
Now Snall is on top of the umpire, and he's headbutting him repeatedly. He's gouging the eyes. Will he finish with his signature move, the figure 4? Oh, my goodness. It's entertaining.
I mean, they make it sound like, oh, man, what was the old pitching coach for the Yankees, when him and Pedro got into it?
Zimmer,
yeah, Don Zimmer. They make it sound like it was that.
I have not seen that clip in a while.
Oh, it's a great one. It's a great one.
They threw Popeye to the ground.
Yeah, it's a good one.
And to be fair, Popeye, he should have probably remembered at what point in his life he was in.
Yeah, probably so.
So I'm going back. I'm doing a little deep dive now on Thomas Castellanos. He didn't even register last year because he was benched, right?
Correct. He was the 16th highest, or had the 16th most passing yards in the ACC, which was more than DJU.
So I'm going back to 2023. As a sophomore, he was 7th in the ACC in passing yards.
No, I think he's talking about running or the combination of both. Yeah, he had 15 touchdowns in 2023, 15 touchdowns and 14 interceptions. And he threw, if I'm remembering correctly, at a 57% completion percentage.
You are correct.
Okay.
Yeah, you had Drake May, Jordan Travis, Tyler Van Dyke, Jake Plummer, Cade Klubnik, Haynes King all finished ahead of him in 2023.
Here's the other thing that we haven't mentioned yet. Where was he before 2023?
He was in Central Florida, was he not?
Correct.
Yeah.
With Gus Malzahn, who loved him so much and thought he was such a dominant player that he was happy to let him walk in the transfer portal and go to Boston College.
Well, there was just a little bit of confusion there.
Right. Just think that's something worth noting, that he has been with Gus before and it didn't work out.
Things have changed, Conrad.
Yeah, I'm sure they have.
Gus is in a better place now. Just calling plays. Chewing gum.
Well, 2 years under Bill O'Brien, you're a changed man, right?
No. Depends on who you ask.
Keep it coming, Tommy.
Yeah. More text, more reaction that we will get to as we continue here on Three Man Front, whether it's what Sean Fox told us when he sat down with us or the College World Series, wherever you want to go with it, we'll get to those as well. More news that we will get to on this Monday. It's Three Man Front on Jox.
11:33. This is Jox. This is Three Man Front. Reaction Monday. 1-800-239-WJOX. The courtesy GMC text line 205-834-9450.
Well, this summer during your travels, whether it's going out of town or taking the kids to various different activities, I know that all of you folks stay busy or just going to work. You need something different to drive. You can do it with our friends at Dobbs Ford. The Goshen family, just God-fearing people, and they love the Lord, but they also love just being around other people. And you're going to notice that when you go into the lot there on Parkway East. Wonderful people that give back to the community, and it's not just the Goshens, Rachel and Joey, the managing partners, but everyone on the Dobbs team. DobbsFordBirmingham.com. It's DobbsFordBirmingham.com, Alabama's largest showroom selection. They'll beat any competitor's price. And right now, you're going to get Ford employee pricing on select makes and models, 90 days until your first payment. They also have a wonderful award-winning body shop. They have 2 certified diesel mechanics on site, and that's a rarity. DobbsFordBirmingham.com. When you get to Dobbs, check out the F-150s, the Mustangs, the Bronco Sports, and make sure you tell them Landrum from Three Man Front and Jock sent you.
So if you missed the comments from Thomas Castellanos from Florida State, he says he's dreamed of moments like this in regards to playing the University of Alabama. I dreamed of playing against Alabama. They don't have Nick Saban to save them. I just don't see them stopping me. Well, a couple of Alabama defensive linemen, they have now responded to that interview. A couple of Instagram responses. Let's start with Kelby Collins, a defensive lineman for Alabama. He just basically posted a laughing, crying emoji.
Okay.
Well, and he's the kid that transferred from Florida State, or from Florida, excuse me. So,
LT Overton, he has posted as well an upside-down smiley face. For those that are unfamiliar with the emoji world, that is commonly used to convey irony, sarcasm, joking, or a sense of goofiness or silliness.
That's wacko.
yeah, that's the one guy I really would want to tick off if I was Castellanos.
Yeah, a lot of NFL early draft numbers has LT Overton going in the first round.
Yep.
Meanwhile, other players like Ty Simpson has liked the emojis from his defensive line teammates. So got a feeling this is just the tip of the iceberg of what you're going to be able to see over the course of the next coming weeks and whatnot.
Did no one tell him what happened to DeAndre Francois?
Yeah, that would probably I was at that game. That was
Didn't work out well for him.
yeah, that was pretty brutal. I mean, Florida State was supposed to be the team that everybody was going to kind of earmark because they were a top 5 team, and Alabama came in there and just absolutely. It was the first ever college football game played inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
I think more than anything, too, these comments, not so much bulletin board material because that goes out. Alabama was going to try to do their best defensively to stop Thomas Castellanos anyways and limit Florida State and win the football game. I think also, though, more than anything, this kind of sets the expectation for Florida State fans and what you're getting in Tommy Castellanos. He's coming in with that swagger. He's saying we got a squad, and you better be able to deliver because you got paid to come there and be a difference maker and be a major upgrade from what they had in DJU.
I will say I do think the difference, with what we were talking about, I think it was last week, with the Diego Pavia stuff, at least in that, I think we all agreed maybe you're going a little too far, but you've at least, you beat Alabama, right? Like, you have that on your resume to point to and go, hey, I've done it before, so maybe I have a little more room to talk crap, whereas this guy coming in, it's like, what have you shown us in your career that makes us believe these words coming out?
Now, this guy is not, as some people would like to say, hot garbage or trash. No, Thomas Castellanos is a solid quarterback, and he's a very athletic quarterback, and he can do it with his arm, he can do it with his legs, but I would, if I'm Mike Norvell, I'm cringing. You want that swagger, but you don't want that posted. Now, had he done this game week, maybe that gets a reaction from his coach. I think if you're a Florida State fan, you hope that this kind of gets lost here in the next 2 months.
Oh, we'll bring it back up. It will come back.
Oh, of course we will.
Yeah, well, of course. That's what we do.
Kick the anthill. Then we light them on fire. And then for good measure, we light them on fire again.
And then we punch them.
Yeah, punch the ant bed, no doubt. Do you remember we've talked about this in the past? And I just sent you guys a picture on your text if y'all want to look at that. So you remember a couple years ago when the NFL basically sent a cease and desist order to the University of Houston?
Yeah.
Well, the University of Houston literally moments ago just released their kits or their uniforms this fall for the Houston Cougars football team.
Is that not the same color scheme?
They've changed them up a little bit, but it is the same color scheme. But they have basically told the NFL.
Yeah, that was big middle finger emoji for those of you at home.
Well, okay. Do we think it's fair for a cease and desist from a franchise that doesn't exist anymore? And technically the Titans exist, but
Well, the NFL point of view is that,
I think it's crazy that you can think that you can send that just based on color combinations and how it's structured on a uniform. Because that's all they're doing.
Yeah, there's no old Derek. There is no. I mean, it's just a color scheme.
I like them.
I think it's a good look.
Well, it's not all that dissimilar to the powder blue Ole Miss uniforms that we love so much, right? In the color scheme, and no one has a problem with that.
Yeah, where do you draw the line if you're the NFL?
Well,
I'm thinking right now there's a high school team in the state of Alabama that they could go after if they chose to do so. They're not going to do that, but I don't know why this is such a problem.
Well, listen, there's been cases in which Little League ballparks, when I say Little League, I know in the state of Alabama, there's a million different, whether you play, official Little League out of Williamsport, Pennsylvania, whether you play Dizzy Dean, whether you play GBBA in Metro Birmingham or USSSA, goes on and on, perfect game, different associations. But I know a couple years ago, Major League Baseball was coming after the smallest of little leagues if they were not using the official, like if you went to a local screen printer and you printed a Los Angeles just Dodgers across the front, they're coming after you.
Because they want the money.
They want the money.
That's
because
crazy.
You're not going through an official Majestic back then before Nike took over. They were going after local little leagues. Cease and desist. Instead of growing the game and letting kids.
Is that why a lot of the
try
little
to-
leagues went to the farm teams? Because I coached a T-ball team and we were the lug nuts.
Well, that was one reason, but now Major League Baseball owns minor league baseball. So now that's changed.
Okay.
So
Do
now
they
you
not
have to go
realize
through all that.
that little kids, I was,
You want to emulate your
I was a
your-
Toronto Blue Jay when I was growing up, so I'm going to be a Blue Jays fan when I'm an adult.
I can still tell you every single team name of every Park League team that I played on.
That's why a lot of park teams.
I got the Pirates so many years.
Now
I'm so
what?
mad.
Never got the Pirates.
The way they get around it now is, for example, they can. Let's just say if you want to be the Braves, but you don't want to pay the Braves, you put Atlanta across the front of the jersey because a city's name cannot be copyrighted.
And so then you're the Braves. Your shirt just says the city.
It says Atlanta, but it's the color scheme. You see what I'm saying? So that's how you get around it.
Yeah, that's so dumb.
Right. But yeah, Major League Baseball was absolutely going after little leagues for using a small mom and pop screen printing business to, do a jersey because your team wanted to be the Braves, the Cardinals, whatever.
A's, Mets, Dodgers, Braves, White Sox, Yankees. Those were my teams. And some of those repeat years. The best was the Sox. Because
You
our
would
coach
think-
bought us fitted hats.
You just would think Major League Baseball would want to grow their sport, but no, heaven forbid we
Well, it
do
was
that.
pretty cool. Right before the end of my coaching my sons in one of the age groups in Trussville, Todd Jones, who was from Pell City, who was a closer for the Detroit Tigers, he actually sponsored the team, and he got them full-blown tackle twill Detroit Tiger jerseys.
Oh, that's awesome.
That
That's cool.
was their uniforms that they wore in the ballpark.
Nice.
And it was first class. So,
Until it got to mid-July.
well, we're typically done by then. So, it was still a little warm.
Those wool uniforms. I'm just kidding.
It was polyester. Just before the Nike Vapors came out.
Mm.
Yeah.
I wish they'd bring those back.
Yeah. You can get a good sell on some jerseys if you want.
That's what everybody's getting for Christmas, by the way.
Yeah. 1-800-239-WJOX. More of your text messages when we come back. 205-834-9450. 11:47, Jox 94.5. The Braves are in New York tonight. They lose yesterday 5-3 to the Marlins. Like Friday night, Atlanta looked lethargic against Miami. Bryce Elder gave up 5 runs, 5 innings pitched. So the Braves dropped the series against the last place Marlins. The Braves are now closer to the Marlins, who are in last place by just 4 games, than they are to the National League East leaders, which are now the Philadelphia Phillies. They're 11 games back in the National League East, 7 games back in the wild card race. Bad news, Chris Sale goes on the 15-day IL. Did he break his rib on that dive?
I'm guessing, yeah.
Austin Cox has been recalled by the Atlanta Braves. I want to point out, I don't know I haven't heard you talk about him before. I know you've talked about Ozzie and his issues at second base, but Michael Harris went 0 for 4 on Sunday.
Dreadful at the plate.
His average is now .223, and he has the worst on-base percentage than anybody in Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
Let me repeat that. The worst on-base percentage than anybody that is playing Major League Baseball right now by 5 full points. He has not walked in 29 games. He has 26 strikeouts in those last 29 games. He has 10 walks all season.
Please tell me he's your 8-hole guy.
There's only 3 people that is playing Major League Baseball right now that has walked fewer times than he has. Like, what is going on with him? He still plays incredible defense. Every time I look up, it seems like he's making an all-star highlight type play, but offensively speaking, the Braves have got to bench this guy. This is bad.
Yeah, it is. He's not the only one. But, yeah, Michael Harris, he's been really good with the glove. But for the most part, and where the Braves have flourished in past seasons is you could count on production from the 7, 8, and 9. Now with Ozzie, his struggles, you've got Nick Allen, and let's be honest, Nick Allen, he was never going to carry a great average. He's been good with the glove, but you're counting on Michael Harris.
How do you drop 2 of 3 to the Marlins?
You're the Braves this year.
They're going to go sweep New York this week, right?
That doesn't matter. New York's not in first place anymore.
True. No, it doesn't matter. They were 2 of 10 with runners in scoring position yesterday. Yeah. That's been for most part of the season. They'll have that one night where everything just kind of happens. That happens for all major league teams, and you get runs. But no, opportune times they haven't delivered.
I just started seeing that Michael Harris stuff, and
he was struggling last year, was he not? Last year,
I was like, what?
Offensively, didn't he have a big slump last year?
Yeah, he kind of worked his way out of it, but this year, no.
I mean, that was like last year. Like Miles Michaelis, one of our starting pitchers. He literally, of every pitcher that it was considered a starting pitcher.
Did he have the worst ERA?
In Major League Baseball, his ERA was like in the mid-6s. And you're like...
That's when you know it's bad, when you have to keep putting that guy out.
You're like going, well, like, seriously. Like, bring up someone from, like, single-A ball.
Yeah.
Like, you mean to tell me that nobody in the organization, but, like, with Michaelis, they're paying him a lot of money, so they just don't want to, cut bait. What's Harris's deal? Was he one that signed a contract like Ozzie and the rest of those guys?
Deals.
I don't know. I'd have to check it. I was impressed with Didier Fuentes. He made a couple of mistakes on Friday night, but for a kid that just turned 20 years old 5 days ago, really liked his stuff. So hopefully that's good news. But Chris Sale going down, all of it. It's just one big ball.
I mean, this is not directed at you, but obviously this is more of a Barrett Sallee question, because it seems like every Friday he continues to give us a formula of how the Braves are going to get back into the race. Like, where do we stand now after, having that tough loss to the Rockies and now losing 2 of 3 to the worst team in the National League East? Like, where are we on the formula?
So now the Braves for the 30-game stretch. So if we started it for the Mets series, you win all 3 there. We said we had to go 20-10 for the 30-game stretches. So you were then you had to go 17-10. Now you've got to go 16-8 for your remaining games. Problem is, you got New York, you got Philadelphia for 7 games. How many of those are you going to win? You still got the Cardinals before the break, right?
In St. Louis.
So if you go 5-2 over the next 7 games, which I know that probably asking a little bit there, but if you go 5-2, will you have some of that confidence back?
Me and my wife were talking about coming back yesterday. This is just it's not a Braves team that deserves to be in the playoffs. I could see this playing out with the Braves. They get hot and they miss the wild card by 1 game. But they deserve it. They're not worthy of being in the playoffs. They got to get something figured out. I'll still cheer for them, but not loudly.
Well, Michael Harris is under contract till 2030.
Oh, well, good. He's got plenty of time to figure out what's going on at the plate. Some of the pitches he swings at are dreadful. I don't know if he's got a vision problem. Maybe he needs corrective lenses or the whatever.
I mean, is he like, because Giancarlo's saying sometimes he'll swing at pitches that are in the edge of the other batter's
Conrad,
box.
there are some pitches where Michael Harris could be standing on the other side of home plate.
And still wouldn't hit it.
My goodness.
Yeah.
How can you be fooled that bad against that guy?
It's bad.
Well, the good news is Schwelly's on the bump tonight.
Schwelly.
3.26 ERA. He's going up against Paul Blackburn, who has an ERA of 6.92.
Schwelly about to get paid after this season.
But Atlanta has that magic over the Mets. They are 26-10 in the last 36 games against the Mets. And the Mets continue to struggle. They actually got rid of their losing streak. But the Phillies, took care of business.
Yeah. We'll get to your phone calls, 800-239-WJOX. Our friend Don. Hey, Don.
Hello, guys. I hope everybody had a great weekend. Pat, that event Saturday is probably one of the best things I've ever been to, my friend. Oh, my goodness, what a day. But a little sad news to tell you about Pat. I did make it there, but it ain't much longer for the man. I hate to say that, but I got to meet so many people. But I tell you what, guys, be prepared tomorrow. There's a lot of the people that were there were from Birmingham, and Pat, the girl wanted me to wear my Mayor of Social Taco name tag. So everybody that was from Birmingham came up to me and says, "Man, oh man, you're the famous Don." I was done laughing, Pat.
Yeah, I saw some pictures and I saw you're wearing your name tag. How was Mr. Feinbaum? Is he doing okay?
That is the smallest, littlest man I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I don't think the man weighs 100 pounds. No.
Well, it's been a minute or two since you probably saw him in person, since the old days of the old WERC days.
Now, Pat, it's been at least 20 years. Okay.
Oh wow.
But me and him talked about you, and everybody did. A lot of the older callers did talk about you, and they know I know you guys, and everybody wanted me to. Our man wanted me to tell you hello, and of course, Legend did too. But PG and me and FJ that comes to Social Taco, we got there early to help the lady, and she did meet her goal of how much she wanted to raise. And
thanks, Don. Hour number 3 next.
We begin hour number 3 here on Jox. This is three-man front. Pat Landrum, Conrad Molly. We're 21 days away from SEC Football Media Days in Atlanta. 61 days. Just think tomorrow will be 2 months away from the official kickoff of the college football season. So far, it's gone pretty quick.
I've already started marinating the chicken.
Have you really?
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's going to taste good in 60 days.
Well, I do it a different way.
Yeah.
It's like a dry aging.
Oh.
Reversed.
Okay. College World Series, LSU knocked off Coastal Carolina 5-3. They sweep Coastal. They win their 8th College World Series title. Second in the last 3 years. They finished 53-15. The SEC continues their dominance when it comes to college baseball. Winners of 6 straight in Omaha, 7 of the last 8 championships. How about 8 of the last 11? And if that wasn't enough, how about 11 of the last 16? So the SEC continues their domination when it comes to the College World Series. It's interesting because in the fiscal year of 2024, LSU baseball generated $8 million in revenue, but they had expenses of nearly $10 million. So they ran a $2 million deficit when it comes to baseball. This year, the Tigers, they have a $10 million budget, which is ranked 3rd in the country, while the Chanticleers had a $4 million budget, which was the 33rd highest in college baseball. LSU paid Jay Johnson $1.9 million this year, benefits and bonuses from this last season. That's far more than the $795,000 that the former Coastal head coach got. That was Gary Gilmore before he retired. He was there for 29 years. And he made $795,000.
What did Snall make?
Do not have that number because it was not based on last year's numbers. But Coastal's athletic department budget, this is interesting. They won the national championship in 2016. Based on the percentage of their overall athletics department budget, they're number 1 in the nation in regards to their baseball expenditures based on their overall athletic department percentage. Example, their athletic department budget is $47 million. They spend 8.5% of that $47 million on baseball. Number 2 in America is Louisiana Lafayette. They spend 8.2%. Coming in at number 3, South Alabama. They spend 7.7%. Southern Mississippi is the 4th highest percentage.
So all 4 Sunbelt teams.
Mm-hmm. Louisiana Tech comes in at number 5.
Would like to be in the Sunbelt.
They're at 6.4%. Marshall spends 6.4% of their budget. Louisiana Monroe spends 6.2%. The first SEC team comes in with the 8th highest percentage spent on baseball is Ole Miss. They spend 5.8% of their total athletic department budget on baseball. Tennessee comes in 9th. East Carolina is 10th. So only 2 SEC programs, not even LSU, based on the percentage of what they spend in baseball in their athletic department budget, is from the Southeastern Conference. And that's number 8 and number 9. LSU spends the 17th most in regards to their athletic department budget. LSU's budget was $219 million. They spend 4.6% on baseball.
I wonder if it's more for the Sunbelt teams that you named at the top of the list, if that's more of a reflection on the either the lack of Olympic sports that you actually field teams in, or maybe you field teams the same number of teams that the SEC does, but you're just operating on the bare minimum. You guys get jerseys. That's it.
Coastal Carolina, 8.5% of their total budget. And it makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, they won the national championship in 2016. It's been a good baseball program for a number of years. And let's just be honest. Coastal was a great story a couple years ago in football, but that's going to be every blue moon that you're gonna have a program like that that's going to be able to put itself in a position maybe to compete for a college football playoff. So why not spend the money there? I mean, if you're going to be good in something, pick that one thing and go for it.
Well, and they've in Coastal Carolina, to their credit, in trying some different marketing ideas. Remember, we talked about this. They got the free concessions at all of the home football games. You get 4 items per visit: hot dogs, popcorn, nachos, fountain drinks. If you buy tickets, those season tickets to those games, which is a pretty good deal. That's catching fire now.
Mm-hmm.
You're seeing it at golf tournaments.
Very smart.
What would that cost, Conrad? At Bryant Denny?
You couldn't buy it. You don't want to know how much that would cost you.
That number's not out there?
No.
800-239-WJOX. A lot of reaction. Reaction Monday continues. B-Ham Dog.
Good afternoon, guys. Long time no talk.
Hey, how are you?
Man, I've been just been busy. But yeah, as for LSU to be, I think you said 17th, that's pretty good ROI right there.
Yep, very much so.
That far down.
Yep.
So, on the Braves, I typically don't call in on and talk about the Braves because I really enjoy wallowing my own self-sorrow when it comes to baseball. But like Landrum, I almost texted you the other night when we had bases loaded with nobody out and we couldn't even. And then the very next inning, it was almost a mirror image: a strikeout by Harris, a pop up by, I think it might have been Verdugo, it might have been Albies, because that seems to be. It's so frustrating, man.
Yes.
Let me ask you this, Landrum. I definitely think they need to fire the hitting coach. Do you think Brian Snit should go? I actually thought that we were going to hear he was stepping down when they brought Freddie Gonzalez, and I thought Freddie was perfect position to be the interim head coach to get us to the end of the season and maybe, catch fire or something. We see that happen quite often. Do you think Snit should go? And one last thing, I'm in the belief that baseball is unlike any other sport. I don't think you put a lot of value in the manager. I think if you got a talented team, you're going to go out there. I mean, because you don't know when Sale's going to pitch lights out, or you just don't know when he's not going. I mean, look at Strider the other night when he had 16 Ks.
Yeah,
I said if we get half of that, he'll beat the Mets. Now he didn't pitch that great against the Mets. I actually thought we'd lose that game if they come out and hit him pretty hard. But you just never know in baseball. That's what makes it just, to me, the best sport in professional sports, because you just never know. But I'll hang up and listen. Do you think we should fire Snit and move on?
B-Ham Dog, thank you. I don't think you should fire him just because of his service and what he's done for the organization. He still has. Braves have been pretty good under his watch. Now, some Braves fans, but you could say the same about Bobby Cox, would say that based on roster, you fell short of expectations, my own included. If he doesn't have any solutions, if he can't pinpoint the problem, if Brian Snitker's answer to why are we struggling is, well, that's just baseball, yeah, I think it's probably time for a change. But these other guys, these guys in the lineup that are not producing, that's on them. Brian Snitker can't go and hit. But ultimately, the answer to your question is, if he doesn't have answers and solutions to fix the problem, then yes, I think that maybe bring in somebody fresh with a new set of eyes. Hopefully they'll be able to. But I don't want to fire Brian Snitker.
But if the Braves don't make the postseason, do you think that's ultimately what will happen?
I maintain with Pat. I think that they have enough respect for Brian Snitker where that might be the case, where they say, hey, this is it. This is the end of the run. But the way it will be portrayed in their statement will be Brian Snitker is choosing to stay on in some other role with the organization because he's been there for so long.
Yeah.
But he'll no longer be performing the day-to-day managerial duties. Do you disagree with B-Ham Dog on the power of the manager in Major League Baseball?
It's always a great debate in the city of St. Louis with the issues, because the general manager, he's the one that signs the players. Then the general manager is the one that comes up with the roster. It's the manager that has to put out a lineup every single day. So how much is a manager handcuffed? Whether a team is having starting pitcher problems or, you're missing a couple bats, whatever the case may be, maybe they're handcuffed. Maybe Snicker has been told, this is the roster. We're paying a lot of money for it. It is what it is. Go be a manager. Fix it or whatever the case may be. And that's a lot of times easier said than done. Somebody will pay the price for this because Atlanta was supposed to be one of the top teams in the National League. I'm not saying they were supposed to be the Dodgers.
They should be a playoff team.
Absolutely. And somebody will have to pay the price for this. It's just the way it works. I mean, you're not going to just get a free pass and say, oh, okay, well, it just wasn't a very good year.
It's just like in the NFL. You draft a bad quarterback, you're out. That's the way it works.
It happens. So, but I've maintained, and this is just me being a baseball fan and seeing this play out in numerous different situations, different franchises. And what Snitker, he's a lifer for the Braves.
Yeah.
And he won a World Series championship for you. They're not going to throw him out with the bathwater. I mean, they're not just going to say, okay, sorry, hit the road, Jack.
But this is not like
do.
some cases that we had in college football where you have a coach, he should have retired several years ago. Now the program has fallen into decay. The Braves organization, they're not going to let that happen. But I don't know if Brian Snitker is the answer in saying, well, this is because, Snitker, all these problems, they're on his watch. But ultimately, if you don't have any answers or ways to fix the problem and you're not going to get any help from your front office staff,
well, what did we
something's got to change.
What did we hear about a month ago that there was some problems in the locker room? Didn't we hear that?
Mm-hmm.
That there were certain factions on that baseball team in the locker room that didn't care for each other?
Well,
they didn't coexist?
They weren't, I don't know if it wasn't, they didn't care for each other, but it wasn't kumbaya. The chemistry is not where it was supposed to be. I don't know if that got fixed or not.
And see, that's the other thing. I mean, the manager's not the one that goes out and signs these guys.
Mm-mm.
I mean, that is the role of the general manager.
No, he got told Profar is going to be on your roster when they signed him in the offseason.
And based on what he has done in his rehab assignment,
looks like the player before the PEDs.
Couldn't come at a better time.
I mean, he's got a guy.
He has absolutely tore it up. He's playing for the Stripers right now, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that where he's...
Which every time I say that, I think I read it as strippers. Do you guys do that?
No.
Yeah.
I think of the fish.
I'm just thinking about paint stripping.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah. We're just talking about that pole in the center stage.
The center fielder goes out there. They have a DJ that comes on.
Yeah.
Sure, the Savannah Bananas will do that.
That's a good idea for them.
Hey, good news, Conrad. Man, you're just getting a lot of good Alabama news this morning.
Oh, did someone else take shots?
Thomas Castellanos throws shade at Alabama. Good bulletin board material. You flip a running back from Illinois to Alabama.
Do we get the Rutgers kid?
No, they're still in the pipeline, though, so be ready for that.
Black helmets.
No, that's not happening either. But as expected, the NCAA has granted Latrell Wrightsell his medical extra year of eligibility.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Was that on your bingo card today?
No, but it is now.
Yeah.
He tore his Achilles, and it was expected. Didn't think that the NCAA was going to not give him the opportunity to come back for another year, but you never know.
That would have been malicious of them.
And they've never done anything like that.
No. But good for him.
That's
glad he's going to be able to play. He's a good player.
So he will be back for an additional year. So that's good stuff. Water can find its way into your crawl space, bringing dangerous mold and mildew and wood rot, but APS can protect your home's foundation, provide valuable storage space as well. So you need to call APS 205-951-9717. Go to their website, alabamaprofessional.com. They offer so much, including the crawl space encapsulation system. If you've got leveling that needs to be done on your sidewalk or the foundation of your home, they can take care of that as well. Crawl space problems don't get better over time. They get better when you call APS. 205-951-9717.
We'll continue. A lot of text on the text line. Got some Brave stuff, some college football stuff. We'll get to those. 3-Man Front on a Monday. Reaction Monday on Jox.
It is 12:18. We'll get back to your text messages. I was really excited over the weekend because I was able to get on my R-Tech tractor. That's right, the zero turn that I bought from R-Tech Tractor over in Jasper. Let me tell you about my friends over there at R-Tech Tractor. I recently purchased that new riding lawnmower, and Jeremy, Greg, and the guys at R-Tech made the process smooth and easy. My zero turn Toro, it's just amazing. I was able to get that out this weekend and take care of all of my yard work in lickety-split fashion. It's fantastic. They also have Cub Cadet, Gravely, Spartan mowers. So whether it's residential or professional mowing, they have plenty to choose from. R-Tech has tractors from Mahindra and Bobcat, a large selection of pre-owned heavy equipment, and an expert service department to work on your lawn or farm equipment. Find them in Jasper on Highway 5, or go to their website like I did when I was first in the market for a zero turn. I just simply went to rtechtractor.com. I was able to pick out, and then I had a conversation with Jeremy and Greg and the fine folks there at R-Tech Tractor, and they pointed me in the right direction. They can help you today. Find them in Jasper, Highway 5, or go to their website, rtechtractor.com.
Let's get back to some of these texts. 205-834-9450 on the Jox text line. And this one rolls in about the Braves. Anyone who knows how to spell the word baseball knows that Snitker is not the problem. Not knowing what they are talking about doesn't stop some people from talking. Appreciate you listening. James says, I understand that there has to be managers and coaches, but at some point the players need to be held accountable, that they're being paid millions of dollars to perform and win. If they don't win, perform, maybe they are the ones that need to lose their jobs and not the managers.
Well, the most interesting thing that's going to happen is I'm already seeing these lists of like the top 30 players that potentially is going to be on the market to be traded, and not one single Brave is on that list of the top 30 players. And we talked to Landrum about it the other day, kind of let him play GM for a minute in regards to who would potentially be on the block for the Braves. And I think conventional wisdom would tell you Ozuna would be number one.
Yeah, Sean Murphy,
because you've got Baldwin that is ready to go. Sure, you got plenty of guys in the minors that can come up and back up Baldwin, you know, if that were the case. I think those two pieces right there, I think you would. I'm not really sure what the catcher's market is in regards to teams that are trying to get to the playoffs. That's not one of those positions that you are really, let's be honest, honing in on. It's always relief pitching or starting pitching. And if you got someone like Ozuna that will play DH for you, I mean, that's a bat that is.
Well, if Sean Murphy's hitting his weight, then maybe you can think about bringing him on as a DH or
what's
feel
his,
kind
what's
of
he hitting
role.
right now? I do not know. Low 220s?
I'm just going to take a guess. Conrad, you look it up. I'm going to say that he is hitting 227.
Okay. Does he have double-digit home runs?
You said, guess, what was your guess?
227.
219.
Okay. How many home runs?
10?
9.
9, okay.
And 33 ribbies.
Okay.
Or excuse me. Never mind. That's 33 hits. He has, let's see.
You know what's crazy is most of that came when he came back from the injury. Remember, he came back in a big-time way, hit the home run, and then he...
Here's the good news, though. He's already equaled his wins above replacement from last year.
Oh, super.
What is it, like 0.3?
It's 1.2, actually.
1.2?
He's worth one whole win.
Walker says, did you see Didier Fuentes, who is the young man who started for the Braves on Friday night versus the Marlins? Did you see where his father flew in from Colombia to watch his son's first Major League Baseball start and ended up catching a foul ball? I missed the part about catching the foul ball, but I saw his dad there in the stands on the broadcast, and that was really cool to see.
That's awesome. Go catch a foul ball?
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Brad Chandler says, my son played for Mountain Brook Rec Fall Ball, was the Yankees twice, Rockies, Pirates. Guess that they paid the royalties, ? Pat?
I mean, some get away with it. Some others, I mean, just depends.
I was about to say, I think in Mountain Brook, you'd have the big market teams, right? You want to be the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Red Sox, or the Cubs?
Here's the text. I like Sean Fox, the LSU guy, a whole lot more than Matt Moscona. LSU used to be a team that I would pull for because I like the way those Bayou boys played ball. Now I want to see them lose at everything. Can we get the NFL draft sound to celebrate LSU losing out on their top quarterback prospect to Oklahoma?
All right, so we do have a little bit of news there. Didn't we have another flip a few moments ago? Did Alabama flip some junior college player? What do we got?
No, but probably equally as sweet for Alabama fans. No, Florida State actually, they all those weapons that Castellanos was talking about. They just flipped 4-star wide receiver Devin Carter from Auburn. So that's now 2 Auburn commits that have flipped in the last couple of days.
Yeah, in the last 24 hours. One to the University of Georgia, a linebacker.
Shadarius Tootle.
Tootle is heading to the Poodles.
Toodles.
Yeah, he said Toodles. That's right.
Yep. Will Auburn play football in 2026?
I will say when Don called in earlier in the show,
Was he crying?
He was
distraught.
He's not doing well.
Yeah.
Not.
Well, they don't have
well.
any linebackers in the recruiting class.
Nope. No wide receivers.
Maybe they just won't play with linebackers.
Feel like you're good at wide receiver, but anything can happen with a transfer portal.
Yeah, you want to have some reserves.
I mean, see, that's the thing about all these kids that committed over the weekend. Just a caveat.
Oh, they're not signing a piece of paper for 6 more months. Yeah.
I mean, we got 6 months of these guys going, I'm going here, then I'm going there. I mean, prime example. Let's talk about Tootle for just a minute. Okay?
He'd been committed to Auburn since like last summer, I think.
So Big Cat weekend last year, right? He commits to Auburn. And then Georgia hosted him for an official visit on May 16th through 18th. Okay? But he's still committed to Auburn. And then he goes back to Auburn on June 13th through the 15th for his Auburn official visit. And he told folks that the Tigers reclaimed the top spot for his services. So he commits Big Cat weekend last year. He's an Auburn Tiger. Then he goes to Georgia on an official visit, then comes back to Auburn, tells Auburn, I am 100% still committed to the Auburn Tigers. And then yesterday, he decommits from Auburn and then goes to Georgia. Does anyone want to make a friendly wager whether he actually signs with Georgia?
I would bet not.
Well, that's the point to all of this.
Oh, yeah.
So it might be a 5-minute headline. It might look terrible for your school, but just give it another 5 minutes. It's like our weather. It's going to change.
Well, it's like over the weekend, Alabama, they have a offensive lineman who came out and said, I'm not taking any more visits. I'm committed to Alabama.
Okay, whatever.
Sure you are. Until someone calls up with a better offer, I'm sure you are, but it doesn't mean anything. Sounds nice.
Posey asking the question, how can they copyright a mascot name as long as you don't do the same colors? NFL, what's going on with Houston football?
For the Houston football, it's just the color scheme. The Love You Blue. NFL had a problem saying that it said it was going to be confusing to the NFL fan. Did the Houston font look anything like the old Houston Oilers font? No.
Nope.
So the Green Bay Packers are about to come down hard on Georgia, right?
Well, they worked that deal out a long time ago.
And Gordo?
Yes.
High schools typically pay $1.
What about Grambling?
Another great one. Yep.
I think actually Gordo High School pays $1 to the Green Bay Packers.
I think I remember you telling that story before.
Should the New England Patriots come after the Homewood Patriots? Asked Dave, as their logo looks like an identical copy. It's not just Homewood. It's a lot of.
I know the midfield Patriots, right?
Jet Tamala, aren't they the Patriots?
Yep.
They've got Pat the Patriot on their helmet.
Mm-hmm.
Theirs actually kind of look like the old Patriots uniform because they're white.
Now, Molly, your high school in Nashville, y'all look like the UCLA Bruins, right?
Yeah, we were the Bruins.
Did it say Bruins in script on the helmet?
No, ours was like the Memphis Grizzly, like the bear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that what a Bruin is?
You didn't know that was a bear?
What'd you think a Bruin was?
I'll be honest, I had no idea what it was.
Didn't they teach you that at Hayden?
Oh,
No.
no.
You never
We're the
asked a
Wildcats,
question?
Pat. We're not worried about bears.
You never asked a question to yourself?
So you hear Boston Bruins in the NHL. What did you think?
I don't know. I figured it had something to do with the history of Boston, like tea or something. I don't know.
No, I'm just trying to think of another animal, like a terrapin. You know what a terrapin is?
It's a turtle.
Okay.
I never heard of anything referred to as a Bruin before. Now I know. Is it a particular kind of bear? Like, is it a grizzly bear?
Isn't a Bruin a baby bear? That's a cub. Is it like a yearling bear?
It is a bear. This is a weird definition. It says a bear particularly popular in children's fables. So it's a mythical bear from children's books.
But we knew it was a bear. You did not.
I did not. No. Now I know.
Do you know where veal comes from?
Does that come from deer?
Veal?
No, that's
venison.
That's venison.
Oh my gosh.
What is veal? It's meat.
It comes from cow. It's just how they're raised.
Oh.
Look it up.
Just the daily dose of me looking dumb.
No, it's fine. I told you guys when I see Gwinnett Stripers, I immediately see strippers.
Y'all take.
Somebody said I also have problems with dessert and desert, which I actually don't, but that's funny. Good line.
This is for Conrad's sake, and Conrad's having a good day.
I'm having a really good day.
He is having a good day.
And I'm just trying to. So Jacob Waters, who covers,
besides his windows being down.
Well, yeah, that was a mistake on my part. Oops.
Well,
I didn't think it was going to rain.
In defense of you, nobody else did either.
He covers the Auburn Tigers for the Opelika Auburn News. Talking about this decommitment from Devin Carter. He says the second decommitment in as many days for Auburn's 2026 class, which now is down to 5 commitments.
Woo!
The Freeze 5. There they are.
There they are. Throw him in the pool.
I'm just reading this directly from someone that covers them on a daily basis. He says, doesn't look like Auburn will enter the 2026 season with an established class like it did last year. Going to take some wins on the field to sign a top class.
That's right.
Ooh,
so Conrad,
pressure's on.
They're negative recruiting now. They're going to fall on their face.
Down to only 5 recruits for 2026.
To a place like that.
They're going to beat Alabama and Jordan Hare and steal all those recruits.
There is some good news, though, about Auburn. Did you see this? That the Auburn University Marching Band is going to be featured.
Yeah, the new video game.
The new EA Sports college football game.
I also saw there's supposedly the Pop-Tart mascot is also going to be in the game.
Oh, Molly.
From the Pop-Tart Bowl.
Best
you excited?
news ever.
Big day.
This is a big day.
That is cool, though. It's good that they're going to have the actual bands in there. That'll be very good for the atmosphere.
Do you know what a Chanticleer is?
It looks like a bird.
It is a bird.
Yeah.
What
kind of bird is it? It sounds like a fancy one, like a heron.
It's more like
It's a bird with reptile reproductive organs.
What is that?
Did you see Conrad's face?
Yeah.
Like, really?
Is that like
He's so gullible.
an iguana or something? I don't know.
Iguana?
Well, I'm just trying to think. Well, because aren't dinosaurs technically birds? So I'm trying to think.
Isn't it like a rooster?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about osprey?
It's like an ostrich, isn't it? Kinda.
Did you not read the Canterbury Tales? Did you not know that the Chanticleer?
A very long time ago.
Oh.
Isn't it like an ostrich, kinda? It's like a tall, lanky bird.
Look it up. What about a stormy petrel? Do you know what that is?
Bird.
Shout out to our friends at Oglethorpe.
Wow, that does not look like an ostrich at all.
No, doesn't.
I thought it was a much bigger bird than that.
We'll continue with your phone calls, your texts. Reaction Monday. This is Jox. Name the artist, Molly. Who does it sound like?
I don't know. I'm not good with names.
No, does it remind you of anybody?
No.
BJ Thomas.
I would have never known that either.
I thought he played wide receiver.
Brian Thomas?
Yeah, they call him BJ back home. BJ Thomas.
Yeah, I would have never gotten that.
Is that he a one-hit wonder, I'm guessing?
No, BJ had some tunage. I just asked if it sounded like someone. I knew you didn't know who it was. I just meant, did it sound like somebody? Like, oh, it sounds like Kenny Rogers. I don't know.
I like Kenny Rogers. I don't think he sounded like him, though.
I just used that as an example.
Okay.
As someone that I think that you would have known. That's all.
On a warm summer's eve.
Molly's going to listen to the BJ Thompson playlist on Spotify on the
That
way
would
home,
be
I'm
BJ
sure.
Thomas, not BJ Thompson, but that's okay.
Close enough. Well, Alabama heat and humidity can be brutal, but don't let it affect your home and family. Keep them comfortable with an affordable Trane cooling system. They've been recognized as America's most trusted brand for 11 consecutive years, and they're the official cooling partner here at Jox. So go find a comfort specialist near you at Trane.com.
So the big story today is the fact, besides that Auburn losing recruits left and right in the recruiting trail, is the fact that Thomas Castellanos, the starting quarterback for the Florida State Seminoles, had some interesting things to say about Alabama, including that he dreamed of playing against Alabama. They don't have Nick Saban to save them. I just don't see them stopping me. Well, on the Knowles 247 website on their message board, just going to give you a little snippet of some of the things that the Florida State Seminole fans are saying about Tommy Castellanos. One person posted, WTF are you doing, Tommy? That's one message board. Another one says, easy to see why he was benched at BC. Kid is an absolute idiot. He better back his words up.
Yeah.
Another poster, we may lose by 30. Now, this is a Florida State fan posting on the message boards.
Yeah.
This is not like...
I told you that was one angle that I thought of as this is not good, but I think maybe even worse is the expectations that now Florida State fans are going to hold you to.
I mean, even Dave texted and said, I was hoping you didn't see that story. Like, that tells you everything you need to know when they're like, please avoid this.
So we'll leave you with this last message board post. It says, why, God? Why?
At least the FSU fans are understanding that their quarterback got benched last year and maybe shouldn't be talking like that.
That'd be one thing if you were coming off a 12-1, 13-1 season. Let's just say 2 seasons ago. It's probably, I like the spunk. Yep, he's going to tear it up. Love the additions in the wide receiver room. Offensive line is going to be much better. And now with Gus running the offense, it's going to be great. But after last year, Florida State fans are like, whoa. Read the room. Read the room.
Yeah, make no mistake. I think we certainly agree he's going to be significantly better than DJU was last year. But that bar was as low to the ground as it could possibly be. So,
well, he didn't just stop about his arrogance towards Alabama. In this article with Pete Nakos from On3, quoting now, and then the ACC. I feel like I tore the ACC up by my damn self for the last 2 years, and I'm with a squad. I hope people don't think Florida State is going to be the same team it was last year because we have weapons. People just don't sit back in zone coverage and watch me. End of quote. So a couple Alabama players and a recruit has taken to social media. Kelby Collins, Alabama defensive lineman, he did the crying emoji. Yet LT Overton, he had an upside down smiley face emoji, which is commonly used to convey irony, sarcasm, joking. And Conrad, who was the 5-star Alabama commitment that just posted?
That would be Xavier Griffin, the kid who decommitted from USC a few months ago and now looks like he's going to be a member of the Alabama Crimson Tide. I would say this kind of supports that evidence. But yeah, he also liked or whatever, reposted the comments by Castellanos making fun of him. Well, he got their attention. That's what he wanted, right? Just to get the attention of Alabama.
Well, he got our attention. This is a way to talk about that game from a different angle. And to talk about Florida State. You're welcome, FSU Dave, a little more, and really scrutinize their season and their schedule.
Would you like to hear Castellanos' explanation for why he got benched last year?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So this is from that same article. Quote, Bill O'Brien and I...
Say it with more swagger.
I don't know how to do that. Quote, Bill O'Brien and I butted heads early in the season. I got banged up a few games. We had a meeting, and it kind of blew up in my face. I did so much for that program, and I just wasn't repaid the right way.
Do you think he's talking monetarily?
Respect?
Or, yeah. What's he talking about?
I would think respect and playing time. The fact that he feels like, hey, I played hurt for you, and then you decided to bench me at the first sign of struggles.
Do we have any idea what his NIL was at Boston College?
So you're telling me that Tommy Castellanos is the victim in this case?
According to him.
And Bill O'Brien's the big bad guy.
The point
well,
spread.
At least Alabama fans can relate to that sentiment, right?
The point spread has not been reflective of those comments. Okay. It's still 13.5.
It would have been great if it moved up, like even just 3 points or something. Just some sort of movement.
Now, we'll all eat our words if for some reason Thomas Castellanos comes out.
Can you imagine
yeah, of course.
How sick Conrad's going to be walking out of that stadium with
I don't
FSU
even want to
Dave.
think about that. That would be bad. That would be really bad.
Which would be worse? Alabama just straight up losing the game or Alabama winning by a point or a field goal?
Oh, losing the game, yeah. Absolutely.
Being a 2-touchdown favorite?
I mean, win's a win, Pat. If I learned anything last year, a win is a win.
Wait a second. What are you showing me? You have to tell me. What?
I looked up his NIL and I couldn't find a number, but I found his Open Doors profile.
Oh.
What is that?
It's they kind of use it to like facilitate athletes' NIL deals.
Okay.
It opens doors.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Landrum.
Open doors.
And there's a lot of now I don't know if these are legit or not, or if these are still.
Is this on the Open Doors website?
Not to be confused with the Nextdoor app.
Very different.
Way different.
You can get a shout out for $33. Well, starting at $33.
Oh, like a cameo type deal?
Yeah.
For $30.
That's what we need.
Can we pay?
We need to get him to do a shout out to Conrad.
Yep.
That's what I was
Hey,
thinking.
Conrad, this is Tommy Castellanos. We'll let you know.
Your ass is grass, son.
Hey, go through the form there and see if we can make that happen.
Okay.
$33, that's pretty cheap.
Might have gone up after these comments this morning.
Does he do like a 2-for-1? We get 2 for $50. Give me one and FSU Dave one. Very different tones, obviously.
Hey, Conrad, I hope you tear it up today like I tore up the ACC for the last 2 seasons. Go Noles.
What should I give him for instructions? It says, what's the occasion? Is there anything specific that you want for him to say? What should be the tone of the video? There's a
tone
lot
of the
of
video
options.
should be upbeat, arrogant.
Will he say roll tide if you put that in the description?
I think we do it something else. Just to get what kind of reaction, something really off the wall and weird, like describing what we're celebrating for Conrad. There's a lot of options, some that we can't use on the air.
Help us out.
If we did like...
I'm looking at the information. So with taxes and everything, it'd be about $45.
Oh, my gosh.
$12 in taxes?
In fees and taxes?
Well, there's a marketplace fee, and then there's taxes. But it says...
How long's the video?
How much does Castellanos get?
I have no idea. It doesn't say any of that.
I mean, I would think at least, 30 seconds to a minute? We got on the Bachelor trip one a few months ago. We got him a cameo from the actor that plays Shooter McGavin. It was like 2 minutes long. Yeah.
My buddy bought me the Matthew Kaminsky, the Oregon player of the Braves, and he used my last name and played a song. That was cool. Posey says you got to have him talking trash and sign off with "See you in P-Town."
That would be good.
That would be really good.
That would be good.
Yeah, the celebration could be Conrad's upcoming week-long trip to P-Town and the parade he's going to be a part of.
I really hope this happens.
Listen to her typing away.
I know.
She's making it happen.
Well, I mean, I spent $1,000 for her to run out on the field at the
Removal
USC
of
game last year,
his
so this is nothing.
wisdom teeth.
I just said Conrad is moving to a new city
Yes.
called P-Town.
Called P-Town.
Listen to her typing.
Oh, that'd be so awesome.
She's going to town.
I was
on
about to
that.
say she's running away with
Might
this.
as well be at a college football coach's press conference.
So, Conrad, she's going to need your credit card for that.
Oh, my credit card. Okay. Do you want me to give it to you over the air, or should we wait?
Yeah,
until
just give her the number and your and the security code.
and the code on the back?
Yeah.
See, this is more of the angle I was going. Just something random, like hope the colonoscopy goes well. Or
What if he could you ask him to make a video of him changing a tire so that he could teach me how to change a tire?
I can add that.
That would just really
This is
help
going to
me
be
out.
turned down so quickly. It's not even funny.
Probably so. Well, it'll probably come in from a Birmingham, Alabama area code, and he'll go, "Oh no."
Yeah, 205.
Oh, no.
That's not happening. No. Of all days for me to get this order,
Yeah,
on the morning I said all this.
Wow, I have my inbox is full of requests from Birmingham.
All right, we'll continue to take your calls, your texts. This is Reaction Monday. We'll do some Pat Ponders at 1 o'clock. This is Jox.
Another BJ Thomas?
Of course.
So raindrops keep falling on my head in this one. Hooked on a Feeling.
Yeah, and this sounds like the, I guess, more popular version of this song. Somebody took it and did a cover. And
Did you hear the other oldie that appeared this weekend? Showed it to Pat. Well done. A lot of text coming in on the text line, 205-834-9450, to the Open Doors request, kind of like a cameo for Florida State quarterback Tommy Castellanos. His comments now going viral about what he said about Alabama. Paraphrasing, they don't have Nick Saban to save them, and he's going to tear it up. And Florida State's a different squad this year, and Florida State fans are taking exception to that on some of their message boards and wishing he hadn't said it. Bulletin board material at its finest.
including our very own FSU Dave.
That is right.
Yeah.
Now we are getting some requests on what to send Tommy Castellanos for his cameo that we're going to, I don't know who's paying for it yet, but
I'll just put it on the company card.
it will be purchased to send Conrad a personalized message from Tommy Castellanos. Can y'all ask Conrad if he knows what a four-way lug wrench is, since he's struggling with identifying other things? LOL, Dustin. Love the show. We love you, Dustin.
I'm going to give you one guess, Dustin. I have no idea what that is.
You didn't know anything about a four-way?
Intersection?
Posey says, hope the colonoscopy goes well.
Thank you. I hope it does too in 10 years.
Joseph, point spread of FSU and Bama will be 27.5, and the over-under will be 70 by the time the game starts.
It is currently 13.5.
Jimmy says, Auburn needs to play Florida State in football. That was a great series in the 80s with Bo and Dion. Auburn needs to play against a Gus offense. I agree, Jimmy. Let's bring that one back.
Maybe they can play in a bowl game this year. Or in the college football playoff.
Conrad, you can see ospreys in person at Logan Martin Lake.
Okay.
Apparently they nest by the city park on the lake. That's Collins from Pell City.
Well, they look very pretty in the pictures. Definitely a lot. Would rather look at that than an ostrich.
Conrad, did you not watch Rockadoodle? It's based on a Chanticleer and a barnyard rooster. I'm surprised Molly hasn't seen the movie. It was a great watch. If you want to know why a grown man knows about it, it's because I have a younger sister and I had to watch every Disney movie ever made with. I can empathize with that.
We'll add it to the
Kid
list for this
songs. My little sister, 12 years younger. I could recite the circus one right now. That thing played on loop. More three-man front. Worst thing I've seen. Pat Ponders next.
As we begin hour number 4 on this kind of a weird Monday weather-wise, it was just really hot, steamy this morning. Heavy rainstorm came through Birmingham a couple minutes ago. I'm sure it's nice and cold outside now.
Yeah, probably really cooled things off.
I feel like Florida.
Yeah. I have 4 pieces of side. That's gonna be it, hopefully, for the side that I lay down. But it says 4 pieces, so not enough to water the entire yard. So I'm out there early in the morning with just the stream setting on the spray nozzle. But this will help. And good news for you, Pat, is your grass will grow that much faster.
So I can get back out there on my R-Tech tractor.
You can get on that zero turn.
Absolutely.
Did you get on it this weekend?
You better believe it. Saturday morning. Spent about a couple hours on it.
9 hours.
As opposed to my, half day doing it the conventional way. No, it's been a lifesaver. I used the example before. Now I know what my parents felt like going from black and white television to color TV. That's why I feel going from me cutting my grass the old-fashioned way to getting on that zero turn. Game changer.
Or like Tommy Castellanos feels going from
Boston
College to Florida State. Because now he's got a squad.
Has Phil still changed his power rankings based on what Tommy Castellanos said about Alabama?
Here's my question. Do Florida State and Boston College play each other this year? Because that's going to be appointment viewing now.
I'm not familiar with the ACC schedule.
They don't.
No?
Nope. Unfortunately not. Unless they were to meet in the ACC championship game, of course, which is very likely.
Because back-to-back years, they did play each other. Because they played at Chestnut Hill 2 years ago.
Oh, yeah, because they almost beat them the year they went undefeated.
And then I remember Bill O'Brien screwing it up going to Tallahassee and almost screwing it up. Yeah.
Yep, you were absolutely right.
Yep.
That would have been a good one.
So LSU wins last night, but the big story was what happened in the first inning. If you missed it, this is the way it sounded on the LSU radio broadcast as the manager for Coastal Carolina got in trouble really early, and he was shown the door.
And Coach Snall out there. Now he's been tossed. Wow. Whoa, my. Home plate umpire, Angel Campos, said, nope, not today. And now Snall going to chase him to the right side of home plate. A couple of other colleagues come in, trying to separate him. Now Snall just threw one of the umpires down on the ground.
I don't believe what we're watching.
They're going to need security here. Wow.
I can't believe what we're watching right now.
Now they're having a conversation, still awfully heated. They're asking Coach Snall to leave the field of play. He is not really relenting at the moment.
Oh, they're going to have to get the police at this point. Those 4 aren't getting him off the field.
Yeah,
I cannot believe what we just watched.
All right. That's the way it sounded on the LSU radio broadcast. After the game, Kevin Schnall had this to say in regards, a little lengthy explanation on what took place between him and home plate umpire Angel Campos.
There's 25,000 people there, and I vaguely hear a warning issued. As the head coach, I was assistant for 24 years, and as an assistant, you're almost treated like a second-level citizen, and you can't say a word. Now, as a head coach, I think it is your right to get an explanation of why we got warned. And I'm 48 years old. I shouldn't get shooed by another grown man, right? So when I come out to ask what the warning is, a grown man shooed me. So at that point, I can now hear him say, it was a warning issued for arguing balls and strikes. And at that point, I said, because you missed 3. At that point, ejected. If that warrants an ejection, I'm the first one to stand here like a man and apologize. 2 words that define our program are own it. And what does that mean is you have to own everything that you do without blame, without defending yourself, without excuses. If you guys watch the video, there was a guy that came in extremely aggressively, tripped over Campos's foot, embarrassed in front of 25,000, immediately goes 2-game suspension and said, bumping the umpire. Immediately does that. There was no bump. He was embarrassed. I shouldn't be held accountable for a grown man's athleticism. They'll retract it, though, because now it's excessive. And the reason why it's excessive, because I was trying to say, I didn't bump him. It is what it is. But if that warranted an ejection, man, there'd be a lot of ejections. As an umpire, I feel like it's your job to manage the game, the national championship game, with some poise, some calmness, and a little bit of tolerance.
I agree. And as a former umpire and did a little college ball, did a lot of high school ball, pad umpires, you don't even have to be an umpire. Just know the setting, know the situation. All Angel Campos had to do was, Coach, that's enough. That is enough. Not going to hear any more of it. That's enough. Do you want to stick around? All right. Well, that's enough. You've said your piece. But he didn't do that. Angel Campos should not be allowed to call a College World Series final moving forward. He does not have the discretion.
He's a former American League umpire, Major League Baseball, 2007 through 2014. Appeared in 585 games. He ejected 23 players in his time in Major League Baseball. He began his professional umpiring career in the minor leagues in 2000. After leaving Major League Baseball, he transitioned to officiating college games.
Do we know, is this the first time he's been in Omaha calling the College
No,
World Series?
it's not.
It's not.
Mm-mm. Nope. You got a very harshly critical statement from the athletics director of Coastal Carolina yesterday. And it was the talk of all of baseball, not just those that cover college baseball, but even Jeff Passan from ESPN.
Oh, yeah.
He was very critical. A lot of other national baseball figures just really scratched their head about this. Especially the fact, I understand you're arguing or questioning balls and strikes, but you also have to know the situation. The guy he didn't come out there and made a fool out of himself. He did not cuss the home plate umpire. Understand that this is a very high-level situation.
Tensions are going to run high.
Just let it go.
I was about to say, if it was a regular season game, would people still be upset about it? Yeah, and it would be embarrassing, but in a winner-take-all, or not an elimination game scenario, potentially the last game of the season, you're going to do that. It's very Bush League.
And then for the other umpire that tripped over the home plate umpire's foot, and then he immediately
2-game suspension,
puts his fingers up in the air going 2, as in now you've cost yourself 2 more games because you would have been suspended for 1 because you were ejected, and then you had gotten 2 more additional because you made contact with an umpire.
That guy needs to go back to just footwork.
Maybe he was throwing that up to the other umpire, saying, you're suspended for 2 games, because the other umpire is the one that kind of...
Yeah, if anybody's going to get blamed, it's the other umpire.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who was kind of shooing him away, like, no, I've got this. We've seen you in training camp.
I was about to say, that makes me think that that's a guy who has experience with the other umpire of, okay, you're a little bit of a hothead, we're going to get you out of here, and then that happens.
Jerry, what did we tell you? Parade rest. Just parade rest. Just stand there.
Yep.
LSU did go on to win a national championship. They're 8th.
Yep, second most all time.
The blue blood is still flowing through the veins of that program.
Certainly so. I think they have a very, like Sean Fox said, a very strong case for the greatest college football, at least of the modern era, greatest college baseball program.
Unfortunately, if you're an umpire and your name is Angel, you're now being confused with another famous or infamous, however you look at it.
Angel Hernandez was like one of the best umpires of all time.
Oh,
I like to think this is where, God has a sense of humor with certain things.
Mm-hmm.
This would be one of them.
Yes. Yeah. That text rolling in and asking if he was the one for the. Didn't Angel Hernandez? Didn't he cost somebody a no hitter?
No,
that was somebody else.
But that was the Tigers pitcher that got robbed of. And then because I remember they robbed him of the perfect game, and then didn't they give him like a Corvette or something as a make good for? It's like.
But to tell you how many incidents involving Angel Hernandez are. My natural reaction when we go back to any kind of call was it Angel Hernandez.
Yeah. Hey, he did that to himself by being a terrible umpire for a very long time.
He was bad.
I think I'm ready for the ABS challenges for next year.
Now they're saying it's going to be 2 more years.
Okay, I'm ready.
You'll get it back in spring training.
I was about to say, so we're going to do it in spring training, and then the players are going to be confused.
I'll get it about the time that they decide on the college football playoff format.
About right.
Ooh, that'd be a good poll question. Which one comes first?
And speaking of poll question, Molly, the 3-man front Twitter poll question of the day had to do with bad officiating in the college era.
Yeah, we just asked which college sport has the worst officiating. Is it women's basketball, men's basketball, college football, or college baseball? And still winning, and I think it's actually been winning all morning, is men's basketball with 44.5%, football with 24.5%, baseball with 15.8%, and women's basketball with 15.1%.
So college basketball not faring very well, according to our listeners.
I'm not surprised.
Nah.
I thought that would win pretty handily.
Yeah, more than anything, it's just the lack of consistency when it calls to calling a basketball game at the beginning or at the end. It's completely different most of the time.
Well, and how many times, I guess every year, but especially now that more people have gotten into it here in this area of, well, they're calling it one way on one end of the court and the other end, the exact same thing happens. They don't call it. And people just, you kind of throw your hands up and go, all right, it's one of those days.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's Courtesy GMC Summer Sales event, and the savings are hotter than ever. Right now in Trussville, you can get up to $15,000 off the luxurious Sierra Denali Ultimate, or save up to $11,000 off the rugged AT4X with the largest selection in Birmingham. They've also got over 30 certified pre-owned vehicles on the ground, priced to move. They've got 9 acres of inventory from their new GMCs and the pre-owned vehicle inventory. Get by and see them off of I-459 exit 32 in Trussville on Edwards Lake Road, right next to Lowe's. You can't miss it. Or visit them online at courtesybirmingham.com.
Recruiting news, in case you missed it, we'll get you up to date on that. Also, Pat Ponder's 3-man front reaction Monday on Jox.
116 Jox on this Monday, Reaction Monday. Paul Feinbaum Show coming up at 2 o'clock. So keep it tuned right here to Jox. Tonight, you've got the Braves at the Mets. Big series for both teams as the Mets have struggled as of late. They have fallen out of first place. Looked like they had that pretty well in hand, but they got swept by the Braves last week. The Braves coming off a losing weekend in Miami, but tonight, Schwelly on the bump for the Braves. So it should be a good one tonight here on Jox.
Well, coming up in just over 48 hours, we're going to have the Birmingham Squadron's NBA draft party at the Edge in Homewood. It's Wednesday, June the 25th, starting at 6 p.m. All four of us are going to be there alongside Squadron head coach TJ Saint, who will be available for meet and greet. They're also going to offer food and drink specials from the Edge tenants. They have a golf simulator, chances to win premium season tickets to the Squadron, and many more giveaways. So come join three-man front and the Birmingham Squadron for the NBA draft party this Wednesday at 6 p.m. the Edge in Homewood.
Do have some college football recruiting news that affects two teams in this state. One is good news for Alabama, and the other news not so good, but no reason to panic if you're an Auburn fan, Pat.
Yeah, a four-star running back, according to On3 Sports, Javari Barnett, he has decommitted from the University of Illinois, and he has decided that he is going to go play at the University of Alabama. He is a four-star according to On3. According to 247, he is a three-star running back. Meanwhile, the Auburn Tigers been a rough 24 hours for them. They had their four-star linebacker Shadarius Tootle, who had been committed since last year on Big Cat Weekend. He has now decommitted, and he is flipped to Georgia. Meanwhile, there is another player, Conrad, a wide receiver. He has decommitted from Auburn, heading to Florida State.
That's correct. 2026 four-star receiver Devin Carter announced really just a matter of minutes ago that he has flipped from Auburn to the Florida State Seminoles. So another weapon for Thomas Castellanos, who will no longer be there at that point.
And Florida State, last night they got the good news that Jaden O'Neal, highest-rated quarterback since the 2022 class, is going to be joining the Seminoles for now.
Yeah, that's the picture where they had Castellanos giving him the keys to the kingdom there in Tallahassee.
They're excited.
They might be wishing he was there this year. We'll see.
Every single day, Pat poses questions to the group. We have no idea what's coming, and we will try to answer them. This is Pat Ponders.
I want to know what you're thinking. Tell me what's on your mind.
It's time for Pat Ponders.
Brought to you by Courtesy GMC in Trussville. Visit their online inventory at courtesybirmingham.com. Question number one. Which of these second-year head coaches will not be at their current school in 2027? Not 2026, 2027. Kalen DeBoer, Jed Fish, Sharon Moore. If you had to name one, which of the three would not be at their school in 2027?
I'm going to vote for Jed Fish. And there's a lot of reasons that I would give. I don't want to give them all, but I think that Jed Fish either falls short, Washington decides they want to go a new direction, or he actually performs at a high level and realizes that he wants to be somewhere else.
All right, I'm saying this because I think this guy has a shorter leash than the other two names that you mentioned.
I think Sharon Moore knows where all the bodies are buried, and I think Michigan is going to be really, really careful with him.
I think that's fair. I will go Kalen DeBoer, and I think it's because he has the shortest leash of any of those guys, and if you have disappointing seasons that stack up on top of each other, Alabama will move on and find somebody that can win national championships. So I think he will still be there in 2027, but of those three, I think he's the most likely because the expectations
I had
are way
Ryan
higher.
Grubb going to take over the Washington job when Jed Fish left.
Oh. Well, then I hope that Jed Fish doesn't get fired for a while.
No, I also think it's Jed Fish. I mean, Washington went, 6-6 in the conference last year? I think they won 3 or 4 games in conference. So, I don't know, just kind of with the rest of the league in the Big Ten, they seem kind of the team that everybody forgot about. As for the teams that came to the Big Ten, so I'd probably go Washington.
Question number 2. This is not your final answer for the upcoming college football season, but as of today, what is your own personal hot take for the college football season upcoming in 2025?
I'll throw mine out there. Again, I'm not saying he's going to win this award. I think Ty Simpson gets Heisman votes. It may be one Heisman vote, but I think Ty Simpson at the end of the year will have at least one Heisman vote.
Again, this isn't final. This is just today. For the Power 4 conference champions, I don't think we'll have a repeat champion.
In any of the conferences?
That's a really good one.
I mean, it's a hot take.
No, I like that. No, that's good.
That's really good.
I don't know
I was trying to
had to write
remember
them down.
who the winners were.
I was about to say, so what? SMU, Georgia. You're talking about the Power Conference winners. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Oregon,
no, Clemson.
I
I'm
said
sorry.
Clemson,
Yeah, Clemson won that one. So,
Oregon.
Yeah. Clemson, Georgia, Oregon, and I don't even remember.
Arizona State. Mm-hmm. I don't think we'll have a repeat.
My hot take is Penn State only loses one game during the regular season.
11-1.
Just pick one. It doesn't matter.
They're just going to lose one?
They'll lose one.
Okay.
Just one.
So we're going to overvalue them, you think, going into the playoff because they'll be 11-1 and maybe they look better than they actually are?
I first thought of saying that Texas will not win the SEC championship, but how many of you actually believe that Texas wins the SEC championship?
I don't think that's a super hot take.
No.
Now, I think if you had said, I don't think Texas makes it to Atlanta, maybe that's a little bit hotter take. But I don't know if you want to go that far.
I don't want to go that far.
Those were good. Do you have one off the top of your head, Pat, or no?
No, that's what I was asking you guys. Okay. So I can make fun of your hot takes.
Well, I just didn't know if you were going to say,
Pat
Ole
he
Miss
was on
is
the
going to win a
fence.
national
Arch
championship.
Manning gets benched midway through the season.
Yours should be that Arch Manning stays in college another year and transfers to Ole Miss and wins them a national championship next year.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
That's really your hot take.
That's a good one.
By the way, Jed Fish could be the coach at Florida, right? Doesn't he have Florida connection? Didn't he go to Florida?
Mm-hmm. Another coach that did not play college football.
Look at there.
Just like Hugh Freeze. Hugh Freeze did not play college football.
Mike Leach.
It's like Dennis Franchione, head coach at Alabama. Never played football.
Did Bill Belichick ever play football?
I believe he did. I would be shocked if he did not.
Oh, yeah. He played at Wesleyan, the powerhouse.
Yeah. All right, next question. We are 8 Saturdays away from the start of the college football season. Here's the what-if scenario. If someone offered you $50,000 cash, but for the next year on every Saturday, you had to work as a clown at a children's birthday party, would you do it?
No.
Okay, so 52 days out of the next year, I'm going to have to dress up like a clown at a kid's birthday party.
On a Saturday, and you get $50,000 cash.
I'm upping my price. I would think about it, though. I could use that money.
See, and that's the thing is, and if this were to be offered to me right now, I would have to take it because, again, like we're trying to do some pretty big things in our life, me and my wife. So, yeah, I would suck it up and be a clown for.
Would you do it for less?
No, we're not doing that. No, no. Let's not talk me down to like $5,000.
I'd ponder. I would.
Yeah, I'd do
think
that for
about it.
Okay, so if you're pondering, what's the number then?
100,000.
That's a lot of money. I mean, yeah, I'd do it for that much.
75,000.
100,000 would get my attention.
But you wouldn't do it for 50,000.
I said I'd ponder it.
Well, okay, well,
70,000.
You have 5 seconds to ponder it.
It's just I don't like clowns.
Okay, well then the answer is
that can help you overcome your fear as you're painting your face on every Saturday.
But the money sounds nice.
It does.
I'm just interested because $50,000
cash. This is no one. The government's not taking anything. Here's $50,000 cash, Conrad. Are you doing it?
Yes.
Oh, I'd do it then.
Can either one of you juggle?
No.
Doesn't matter.
Or do balloon animals?
No.
I can juggle like Will Ferrell in The Office. Where he does the invisible juggling. I can do that.
But you would miss college football. Every Saturday, you would have to be at a kid's birthday party dressed up as a clown.
That might be
Well,
good
how
for
long-
Alabama, Pat.
How long are these kids' birthday parties?
I don't
like
know. It might be
8 hours. How long's a kid's birthday party?
It just depends.
It's going to be an all-day event.
Well, I guess I'm going to have to quit my job here then, because I'm not going to be able to watch any college football.
And you can go back and watch it on YouTube.
Okay, then yeah, I'll take it.
People have worked here at this radio
Yeah,
station.
that never
that did that.
He's
I'm
not
not
lying.
lying.
He's not lying.
I know. I know.
All right, so $50,000 cash.
I'm in.
You're in. Molly, you're in.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Landrum's a no.
No.
You can't hide money.
No,
He
you
doesn't-
can't.
he doesn't
No,
need
you
it.
can't.
If you'd have said magician, that would have changed my answer.
I'd do a magician for 10 grand.
So what about 100,000 for you?
Yeah, that gets my attention.
Okay. So you're a little bit higher brow than Molly and Conrad.
But you're going to get a better performance.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Wow.
Yeah, no, I mean, if I'm doing this, I'm not putting a
Now,
ton
see,
of effort
Molly
into
could
it.
dance. They could be like the dancing clown
Yeah, I'm retired.
for $50,000.
Have you heard the cracks in the pops of my knees and
I'll
my
have
back
to change.
and my hips?
I'll have to change my material. Mine is more
risque.
Yeah, it's a little for the older crowd, but I'll tame it down. Cousin Cliff used to do the same thing. Hosted the children's TV show, and he would do adult birthday parties.
Hey, kids, you ever seen a clown's foot without the shoe on?
All right, so just for the record, $50,000 cash. You're a yay.
Yeah.
Molly's a yay.
I'm a yay.
And he's a no.
No.
Okay. All right.
Would you do that for $50,000?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
$50,000 cash. You better believe it.
No, dressing up as a clown is a fetish of his.
No, it is not.
He's a furry, Landrum. Come on.
No, he's definitely not that.
Final question. What's something you've believed in or believe, but others think you're nuts?
I believe in the Loch Ness Monster. 100%.
I still believe in Nebraska football.
See, but your friends also believe, right?
Yeah, but most people think I'm crazy.
Do your other Nebraska friends think you're nuts because you hold out with that?
No, we're just all collectively insane.
Is there one in your friend group that's like way more optimistic than everyone else? It's like, we're winning a national championship this year, and they actually believe it?
Well, see, we have our moments with each of us.
Okay.
We're so back, and then it's the end of the world the next day.
So like Landrum with the Braves right now.
Yeah, pretty much. That's, yeah.
Ooh. I mean, mine would have to go back to conspiracies, but I don't know how. I think people now would probably agree with me, but I think it was on multiple fronts, the planning and the assassination of John F. Kennedy. I don't just think that it was
one person.
Yeah, I think it was.
I agree with that.
Went a little bit deeper than just
state sponsored. I think CIA. I think Oswald. I think Russians, Cubans. There's a lot of different entities that came together and pulled that off because the Kennedys, they had a lot of enemies.
I agree with that.
I don't know where I am on LBJ and his role. I don't think I'm lumping him into that. What about you?
It'd have to be. I believe that there is a bipedal critter in the woods that we have not discovered yet.
Did you believe in? You believed in aliens too, right?
No, that
See, that was the thing because he believes
I
in
believe in
Bigfoot, but
aliens.
not aliens.
Not aliens.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nope.
What if Bigfoot is an alien?
Then we got a different story. I guess
That'd
need
be
to
crazy.
change my mind. Yeah.
He's just green.
That's today's Pat Ponders, brought to you by Courtesy GMC and Trustful CourtesyBirmingham.com, the website.
We have a TV contract announcement when it comes to college football. We'll get to that. Also, the worst thing that Conrad has seen. We continue on a Monday on Jox.
It's 1:34. Paul Feinbaum Show coming up at the top of the hour. If cracks have started showing up in your foundation or your windows, a little bit tougher for you to open up and close, or your doors seem to not to be flush with your door frame, you might have a bigger problem. That's why you need to call APS, Alabama Professional Services, 205-951-9717. What's going to impress you the most about APS is their professionalism, quality of their work, top-notch products and service. So if you're dealing with foundation issues, a wet basement, a sinking concrete, do yourself a favor and call Alabama Professional Services. Reach them at 205-951-9717 or visit their website, alabamaprofessional.com.
A little more college football news. This coming from the TV side. It was announced today that the Pac-12 has announced CBS as its primary media partner, extending the league's agreement with a television network through 2030. With the move, the Pac-12 football and men's basketball championship games are going to air on CBS and Paramount Plus through 2030, 2031, and a minimum of 3 regular season games in each sport will also air on the network. Sorry to laugh as I was reading that. I guess that's really good news for the Pac-12, but I don't know if that really makes a big difference for anybody in that conference.
What are you talking about? That means everybody at Texas State, they are ready.
Yeah.
They're ready to sign. They're ready to be the next team.
That's that next team, right?
Yep, because they've only got 7 teams ready to play football for next year. They need an 8th. So
the teams from the AAC are like, it's going to cost too much, and what are you offering? And it's not enough. We're going to stay here.
So Texas State, we believe that's going to happen within the next week or so, because after July 1st, their exit fee goes up to $10 million. It would be 5 for them to leave the Sun Belt. So it could be just me, but I don't think Texas State has got an additional $5 million just to pee away, just to, you know.
I wouldn't think so. I don't think there's a whole lot of school. No matter what your budget looks like.
I think an Alabama and Auburn would pause for a minute.
Wait a minute. How much is it going to cost?
I think Cohen and Byrne both would be like, hold on a second.
Yeah. We have a lot of reaction. It's Reaction Monday to Pat Ponders. In case you missed that, you can find it 3-Man Front Podcast at joxfm.com. But the text line reading right now, 834-9450. Posey says, define aliens, Pat, like little green men?
Yes.
Because they have been seen single-celled organisms of the windows of the Apollo crafts. Will says, Pat and I believe in Bigfoot.
Do you think there's one Bigfoot, or maybe there's multiple?
No, multiple.
Okay.
There's families of them.
Do you also believe in the Yeti?
Yes.
Because that's essentially the same thing, right?
All the same, yes.
Josh in Huntsville says, I could totally see Landrum doing the creepy Joaquin Phoenix bathroom dance routine when he's home alone. I'll do it in public, too.
About like from the Joker movie?
Go back to the clown birthday party question that Pat asked. Oh, that was ugly. I think they meant it as fun. Do you want me to read it?
Yeah, read it.
Why is Conrad pondering? He's a clown on the program every day.
Well, I hope I make you laugh every day.
You make us laugh.
Yeah.
We laugh when you laugh.
That's okay. I can't. Not everyone's going to love me. It's fine.
Lee's hot take for the college football season. DJ Lagway will lead the nation in passing yards and touchdowns. My hot take should have been Thomas Castellanos.
Wins the Heisman?
Wins the Heisman, and he starts it by making a statement against Conrad's Crimson Tide.
Call it now. How many yards passing does he have against Alabama?
170. He's going to have 170 passing yards, 44 rushing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and 1 fumble. And 2 broken legs. I'm kidding. I'm kidding about the last part.
Follow up on the text about you being a clown every day. It was all in fun. I thought it was, but sometimes you can't interpret tone.
I appreciate it there.
JJ says that he still believes that the earth is a globe.
What is that? What do you mean?
That it's round?
Like that's it? Like there's not... I'm confused.
That it's not flat?
Yeah, I assume that means you don't think the world's flat, which is good because it's not, but I'm confused by what that means.
He says not flat
Oh, okay, yeah.
in real time. He just responded.
Well, don't argue with Kyrie Irving about that.
Posey asking, have you any of y'all been sucked into the Bigfoot vlogs? Hilarious. Huh?
Is that what Pat does in his free time? What is that, on YouTube or something?
No, I mean, I've watched, like Landrum, I've watched plenty of documentaries and shows about it.
So is there compelling evidence out there?
Well, I mean, there's obviously certain grainy footage. There are fur and hair that have been found in locations that you run DNA and stuff like that. It comes back inconclusive. Not to mention the fact the number of prints that have been obviously, cast.
Well, that's what I was wondering, if it's more so like footprints and that's kind of the main evidence, or if it is the pictures.
It's feces.
Scat, we call it in the business.
Oh, okay, scat.
Yeah, Landrum thought you meant the Jeep thing.
There are new animals discovered all the time, every year.
What if the running back from Arizona State last year, you just replaced his?
Scataboo was a Bigfoot?
No. Something else.
I gotcha.
So what about your Loch Ness Monster thing?
We've all seen the pictures.
That's all been proven that they were fake.
No. It's one of those things that I want to believe it's real, so I believe that it's real.
Oh, okay.
This one coming in from Tuscaloosa. FYI, there's theories about Bigfoot sightings occur a lot more frequently after UFO sightings. Possible connection? ...
No. Okay.
Someone saying that I believe that birds are government spies. That was Drake.
That's a popular.
Or Drake is asking, do you believe that?
It's a popular theory. I do not, but I know
That's a theory. So they have.
They're essentially robots, and so they like the idea how everyone's like, oh, the government's listening to you through your phone. There's people that believe that's how they keep tabs on people, is the birds. Mm-hmm. And so when you see a lot of birds on like telephone poles and things like that, it's actually cameras that are.
When was the last time you had a conversation about something? You looked down your phone, you saw an ad for what you were discussing.
3 days ago.
I'll say too often.
Could they tell their robot birds to stop pooping on my deck?
And I don't know, maybe it's a belief that, there's out of every pack of birds, like 2 of them are robots.
So they're not all.
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying maybe that's, the way people would go. I don't believe that, but.
Okay. I'm not going to make fun of these because we buy into some of this to some extent. Max saying birds aren't real.
There you go.
Do you believe in ghosts, Conrad?
I don't believe in ghosts. I believe that there's maybe weird things that could happen.
What does that mean?
Paranormal activity or something. But I don't think there's actually like spirits that, roam the hallways of abandoned houses and things like that. But yeah, I believe in I guess you would say like demons or whatever,
Yeah, demons?
Yeah, I believe in that, absolutely.
Evil spirits?
Absolutely.
Chris asking, Pat, is there some sort of local Bigfoot in the Missouri area? Honestly, I would think when I think Bigfoot, I think that Bigfoot would live in the Ozarks.
So yeah, I'm thinking like Montana or somewhere like that is where you would.
Pacific Northwest is where they're most prevalent, or the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, going into Canada.
I imagine them where cities have built all around them, and then they've had to resort to living in one.
Most of the ones in the state of Alabama
area
have come towards Selma.
Huh.
And towards the southwestern part of the state.
So have there been sighting, whatever you want to call it, in other I know you just said Canada, but like in Europe? Or is it mainly a North American? thing?
She's been in Europe.
Okay.
A lot of Eastern European.
Okay.
Now, are you one that appreciates Bigfoot, or if you knew that they existed, would you pay to go on like a safari to hunt them?
I think that would be fun.
That would be pretty cool.
I think it would be a lot of fun.
Not if he found you first.
Well,
yeah. What kind of damage can a Bigfoot do?
Pat, don't they have the bite force of Jaws?
Yeah,
the grip strength of vice grip pliers.
Probably a little bit more than vice grips.
I'm just like,
I
it's
like
like
the
a
vice
gorilla.
grips.
It'll just, like rip your limbs off and beat you with them. You don't want that.
Jimmy says one thing that he doesn't believe: outer space. He says outer space isn't real.
Oh, just in general. Okay. I know a lot of people don't believe in the moon landing.
Dragons had to have been real. Somebody says that's mine. Do you believe that dragons once existed?
Oh, that'd be so cool.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know
there's
about the fire
cool.
breathing, but I do think that, yeah, something that would resemble a dragon.
Yeah, they're probably dinosaurs that.
I mean, you already have the
Look
Komodo
similar.
dragon that is walking around now.
Yeah, as a kid, I definitely thought those could breathe fire. I was very disappointed when I found out they couldn't at the zoo.
Now, those will kill you because of the
They
poison.
will kill. Yeah,
The poison in their mouth.
They are deadly.
Max says that Asia is apparently a hotbed of Yeti, abdominal snowman in the Himalayas. sightings.
Well, yeah, okay, yeah, around Mount Everest and stuff. Yep.
Justin says Bigfoot versus 100 men. LOL. Going back to the gorillas.
Yeah, I'm interested. I'm gonna go watch these documentaries now.
Fat Joe says, I believe in aliens because my two kids and me were driving back from Chicago. We saw a UFO, and I have lived in 2 houses that have been haunted.
Wow. Baker Mayfield and his wife saw a UFO
Oh, I forgot about that.
in Austin, Texas.
Yep.
My mom claimed that, I probably shouldn't tell that. She claimed that she saw a UFO driving home one night on a date in high school. She swore till the day that she died that that's what she thought she saw.
Former President Jimmy Carter reported an incident. It's official that he saw a UFO.
What's in Area 51?
We will continue with your text messages and your calls. Paul Feinbaum Show, top of the hour. This is Jox. Hope you'll join us tomorrow. We'll be live at Social Taco from 10 until 2 o'clock. Come on by and see us. Have an extended lunch hour. We will be there. Doors open up at 11. You might be able to sneak in a couple minutes early, but join us from 10 until 2 on the Taco Terrace there at Social Taco.
We see good, we see bad. Conrad usually sees something bad. This is the worst thing that Conrad has seen.
This is the worst thing I've seen.
Been in quarantine, and I need to get out and party. Woo! What's better than beach and a few drinks and Jeeps? Man, getting better than that. Law enforcement's definitely made their visitability and made people chill out and not be as crazy. The cops are doing their job as long as they don't be mean to people who are actually being innocent. Then I'm all gravy, baby.
All right, I'm going to be honest. This one freaks me out a little bit because it kind of reminds me of something that happened to me that we reference on the show a lot. Involving a cave. And this is a little bit different, but it certainly makes me uncomfortable. All right, so we are going to go to Indonesia, where unfortunately they are currently undertaking a massive rescue operation after a hiker tumbled off of a cliff near the crater of an active volcano. So a Brazilian tourist, 26-year-old Juliana Marins, was hiking with a group when she disappeared around 6:30 local time this past Saturday at Mount Rinjani in Indonesia. The report from the BBC says she fell off a cliff surrounding a trail and plummeted next to the volcanic crater. Rescuers could hear her screaming for help as drone footage from Saturday night shows that she is still alive and perched on gray soil near the crater. But when a vertical rescue team tried to reach her after being nearly 1,000 feet below the cliff that she fell off of, she was nowhere to be found. Attempts to find her using thermal drones were hampered by the thick fog surrounding the volcano. The good news is she was located again earlier today. She is even further down from where she was originally perched, which was 1,000 feet down from the cliff. But the weather conditions have had to stop rescue efforts once again, according to family members updating people on the search. Unfortunately, rescue teams were able to make it not even halfway down to the trapped tourist. And let's see, you can find a picture. This is actually really, really sad. You can see a picture of her where she is sitting in what looks like, some, I guess, soot around the crater of the volcano. But apparently the family is now going after the park for remaining open and allowing hikers to use the exact same trail while they are currently conducting this search. So we will be sure to keep you updated on this throughout the week. But yeah, unfortunately, she is still stuck as of 1:54 on Monday afternoon in a volcanic crater in Indonesia. So very sad story there, but the good news is she's still alive. They have an idea of where she is. They're working to get her out, but haven't been successful yet.
I told you guys when I went to Indonesia, we went to another active volcano. And I think it's the most active in Indonesia, and that was Mount Merapi. And we all took our pictures as close to the edge as we could, but I could not imagine. She's very, very lucky to be alive.
Absolutely.
And thoughts and prayers with her on all the rescue efforts of the first responders.
Well, and obviously the concern now, it's been a couple days. What is she looking like in terms of food and water and things like that as well.
To get up just to the base of the volcano where we had to ride with locals on dirt bikes.
Whew.
Yeah. And it was hot, as you can imagine. And, of course, I got put on the back of the dirt bike. The guy that weighed 300 pounds was profusely sweating and wearing a tank top. Yeah. That's going to do it for us. God is great. Paul Feinbaum is next.